Justin Lepage has conquered many challenges in his illustrious AFL career. He more than held his own against some of the finest players of all time on his way to 3 premierships with the Brisbane Lions.
The Brisbane Lions have done it back to back to back.
But 2016 has proven to be his toughest challenge yet.
What they're producing right now isn't good enough.
He's been under siege as the Lions stare down the barrel at their worst season in the Brisbane era.
This is not a team that's ready for AFL footy right now.
This afternoon, they face an opponent all too familiar with the pressures that come from a lack of success. Carlton has been riding that roller coaster for 15 years. Brendan Bolton's arrival has provided renewed hope, but the Blues enter round 21 on an 8-game losing streak. Their last victory coming against the Lions way back in early June.
And he summed it up perfectly. Blues have hit party mode now.
So there's more than 4 premiership points on the line as 2 clubs desperate for a win go head-to-head at the Gabba. It's the Brisbane Lions hosting Carlton on Saturday afternoon football.
Oh, about that. Chance to kick a goal, yes! Now Keys should goal from there. Hands it off because Tui can bomb them from anywhere. He's put it through.
Saturday afternoon football from the Gab, the Brisbane Lions taking on Carlton. Jason Bennett alongside Brisbane coach Justin Lepage. Justin, thanks for your time, mate. It's obviously been a long and taxing season, the last couple of weeks particularly difficult. As a coaching group, how are you guys getting around the boys to keep everybody up and firing?
Yeah, it is a challenge at times, isn't it, when the win-loss ratio isn't going your way. But normally Monday's the day that everyone feels it, and then from there you move on. So that's been regular.
A young group you've got, so confidence obviously important, and belief, self-belief. How do you engender that amongst the group?
Yeah, it's a good one. I mean, our guys are actually in really good spirits week to week. We actually start games pretty well. For us, it's about maintaining it once those challenges come. It's going to be an interesting game today. We play a team that we can win on our home deck on a nice warm day in Brisbane.
Looking ahead to today's game, the competitive advantages, where do you see you can get the Blues today?
Well, our scoring rates will be better than theirs. They're defending better than us. I mean, they're probably the 2 simple numbers, so we've got to make sure that if we can defend a bit better, and they're probably asking themselves if they could put a bit more pressure on the scoreboard for us, that's where it's going to be done today.
Every game's a learning curve. Certainly you've got so many young players in your team. What sort of things are you looking for out of these guys as the planning goes forward for 2017?
Well, contested footy rate's been better. We want to continue that part of our game. It hasn't resulted in scores, but our big area has always been our turnover scores against and playing the game at a sharper tempo. And at times it takes a bit of training, but also a little bit of leadership and coordination.
Mate, thanks for your time. Good luck.
No worries.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. It is a glorious day here in Brisbane. In fact, I'm not sure if it's a great day for football either of you, Jude Bolton or
We're going hot. It's very hot here today.
I'm worried about your scone right now, Lee, as a matter of fact. Today is about youngsters. In particular, both sides have got a lot of youngsters in their lineup. 2 in particular I want to focus on pre-game, Lee. One is Jacob Wedding taking number 1 last year, and also Eric Hipwood. How are you reading their development?
Well, they might play on each other. Wedding was terrific from the very beginning, and he's played his 17 games. Of course, Hipwood didn't play till about halfway through the season. He's only played 7 games, still looking energetic and enthusiastic. He's only a skinny kid, of course. Josh Shackey, interestingly, who was the number 2 draft choice behind Reading, is basically cooked now. He's basically played his 17 games, and physically he's just done. So I think the formula might be, if possible, if they've got a young key forward, try and keep him at the lower level for a couple of months, maybe play him half a season at reserves to finish off their first season.
Jude, if Carlton have any chance to win today, they're going to have to fix up their ball movement. They were ordinary last week.
Yeah, really got picked apart by the Saints last week, and I just looked at one particular stoppage, and this is what they need to do. They exploit a poor set up from St Kilda. They went out the back and they took the game on, and here you see Bryce Gibbs deliver it long inside forward 50. They need to get it in there. They're only scoring 18.5 points from stoppages. They've got massive issues in those clearances, so they need to just put that effort in, and they'll get that opportunity against Brisbane.
You talk about stoppages, you talk about one man when you're talking about Carlton, that's Patrick Cripps. He is the stoppage king of the Carlton Football Club and almost the AFL too. A brilliant young player, best and fairest in 2015. He is our half-time feature today.
Look, it's been some hard yards, but I think we've definitely laid some strong foundations. The more experience you get, and the more you play, the more you feel like you belong out there. And I love going out against the best players in the competition. I try to pride myself on contested ball and clearance work.
Download the Macca's Little Wins app today. There are AFL games to play and hundreds of prizes up for grabs, including 2016 Toyota AFL Grand Final travel packages.
Been a difficult couple of months for the Blues. They've lost their last 8 straight by an average of 34 points, but a great opportunity this afternoon under sunny skies here at the Gabba in Brisbane for the Blues to notch up their 7th win of the season. Speaking of the Blues, here's their senior coach Brendan Bolton with Jude Bolton.
Thanks for your time, Brendan. You conceded 27 marks inside 50 against last week. Restricting opposition ball will be a big focus today, surely.
Yeah, we need to respond. We didn't play it quite the way we wanted. We looked a little bit tired, but 6-day break, that's just what we needed.
And a young man, Dave Cunningham, gets his first opportunity. What can the Blues fans expect?
Yeah, he's got some class in around the stoppage, so hopefully he can break out of a few stoppages for us.
And now the Lions, obviously, what are you expecting from them today?
Listen, they'll be looking to respond as well, so it's going to be a contest early, so we've got to be up for the fight.
Good luck today.
Thanks, Bots. Cheers.
Thanks to Brendan Bolton. Take a look at the Carlton lineup, gentlemen. Tim Watson, Lee Matthews, 7 players under the age of 23. It's a young lineup, but some serious experience around it as well.
Yes, they have got some experienced play. If you look at that goal-to-goal line, I mean, that's pretty solid down the line there. Liam Jones comes into the side. We know that he's been a key position type player, good performances at VFL level, and Cunningham, who Bolton just spoke about too, and he's a very handy midfielder, can break from the stoppages lead, but also a very good ball executed by foot too.
Only their 4th debutant. They haven't been a really young side, Carlton, even though they haven't had heaps of experience. We see the Brisbane lineup. They're a very tall team. They've decided to keep with Archie Smith, who has played a couple of games in the absence in the ruck, in the absence of Stephen Martin. So Martin's back. They're both in the 22. So they've got plenty of height in the team. Cutler is back, and there's Jack Silvani, who saw his mum Jo Silvani on the way in. He get much more nervous watching the son than the husband.
In fact, I don't think you even need to look at the face. You don't even need to look at the number on the back of the jumper. You just see that gate.
Yep, the arms and legs.
Says Silvani.
Gentlemen, there's some numbers around Carlton scoring. It's been a problem for them this year. Only Essendon has scored less. They've scored 100 points just twice this year. You can see the future. They've got Mackay in the reserves, Curnow, Silvani, Casbolt, a couple of smalls. That's been their issue, though, trying to get score on the board for all the work up the ground.
Yeah, no, we've seen them a couple of times this week. In fact, a couple of weeks ago against the Sydney Swans at the SCG, they looked really good, but they just couldn't put any score on the board when they went forward. But, they've got a lot of things that they need to fix. Bolton has been excellent in his first year of coaching.
So we're almost set to go here, the Brisbane Lions and Carlton for Saturday afternoon football at the Gabba. We'll be back with the opening bounce right after this.
The thing with Mitch is he looks like he's always had a couple of cans of Red Bull. He's up and about.
He's the life of the change room and out in the field. He brings a lot of enthusiasm, tries to bring the boys up.
He's not the silky smooth player of the competition, but he supplies the energy and aggression we want, and the players love him for it.
Oh, he got him there! He got him big time!
He certainly brings a hard edge to our group and plays with his heart on his sleeve, and he'll be the first one to dive on the hard ball. He's tackling and he's just ruthless attack on the footy is like second to none.
He gets steady and he's kicked a fantastic goal, Mitch Robinson.
He's one of the first guys you want to go to war with.
And that's Saul Simpson. That's courageous. He's been absolutely poleaxed.
Yeah, I probably don't see myself as courageous, as you just said. Just a bit of instinct. It's sort of just the way I was sort of taught to play, I think. Just sort of see the ball, eyes on it, and go for it. It's something you really respect players for doing.
Good mark by Simpson.
If you do something courageous, the amount of pats on the back and stuff you get sort of makes you want to do it again.
Well, Kate Simpson may not see himself as courageous, but the rest of the football world certainly does.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep. That is a tail. All right, all the best, guys.
Tom Rockcliffe wins the toss. The Brisbane Lions will kick to the right of screen in the opening term as we head down to Jude Bolton, just basking in the Brisbane sunshine, Jude.
It's warm down here at ground level, Jason, and certainly going to be sitting in that sun all day, but really excited about some of the young talent out on the park, and none better than this young man for the Brisbane Lions. He's a 200-centimetre prospect, Harris Andrews. He's going to have a big job today, whether he's on Levi Casbolt or Liam Jones, but his intercept marking has been fantastic. But Brisbane are ranked last for intercept mark scores from those intercepts, so they need to take the game on, and certainly he's going to have a big impact today.
So there is Harris Andrews. He gets the start on Liam Jones. Jones back into the side for the first time since round 9. He's been plying his trade in the VFL, so a chance for Liam Jones this afternoon to get out there and make an impact at AFL level. Round 21 action, the Brisbane Lions and Carlton from the Gabba. Great to have your company. Chance for one of these two teams to get back on the winners list. Martin in the ruck against Cruiser. There's Cunningham, the first gamer. Gets his hands on the football. Not quite his first disposal, but his first possession.
1 metre, guys. 1 metre.
David Cunningham, promising young prospect, taken at 23 in last year's draft.
Touch play on.
Cripps tries to move it forward. Zorko, handball missed the target. It ends up Bastanak. His handball partly smothered by Thomas.
Bryce Gibbs will be happy. Mitch Robinson has gone to Patrick Cripps this time round.
It's going to be one or the other, wasn't it? Which one did he go to?
Thomas goes inside 50. It's Casbolt versus Merritt at ground level. Jones lays a shepherd to clear a path for Armfield, but Harris Andrews beat him to the football and it goes over and out. Yeah, last time these two sides played, Robinson did the job on Gibbs, just held him to 12 possessions, did a wonderful job.
He did, yeah. Bastanak is, at the moment, he's running with Bryce Gibbs as well, so I don't know whether that's a hard tag or they're just going to run with each other.
Free kick, a hold, and it's going the way of the Blues.
Hold off the ball against Darcy Gardner, but is it not? Maybe Stephen Martin. Oh, it's a ruck situation, obviously, yeah, so the jostling in the ruck, umpires said was a legal hold.
Matthew Cruiser. He's gone back a long way. He's going to have to give it his best here from 55. Chance for the opening goal of the afternoon. In fact, he'll just put it up to the top of the square. Casbolt will come from the side. Won't quite get there. Off the hands of the contest to Kerridge. He's taken down. Can't wiggle free from there. The umpire says holding the ball.
That half kick that was just executed then by Cruiser. There wouldn't be a player in the competition that didn't know that half kick was on there, Luke.
I think it's pretty normal, isn't it?
Time to pick a new spot as Rich goes out towards Walker, who hit the ball at pace. Handball missed the body. Silvani to gather, tidy it up, feeds it back to Tui. Thought about the lateral kick. Instead, he'll pump it back deep inside 50. Thomas lurking at the back. It comes to the front. Gibbs, quick snap. Opening score is a minor one to the Blues.
What I really enjoy watching about Jack Silvani is the way that he moved through that pack and that contested play then.
Rich's kick is picked off by Matthew Wright.
Matched around 3 metres, please.
He's having a career best season after a number of years at Adelaide.
It's a dangerous kick, isn't it? That one on the 45 short, because if you do get it, you're still deep in your back 50, but clearly if it gets turned over, it's a pretty simple shot at goal back over the kicker's head.
He's added some much-needed experience and some goals this year. He's kicked 16 goals, 8 for the Blues. And as you said, goals have been a problem. But Wright delivers the first of the afternoon for Carlton.
Here we see the kick. It's a good view of it. I mean, it's not as if there's Lions players in a lot of space on there. It's a bad turnover and an easy start for confidence for your day for Wright.
So the Blues on the board. Cruiser tried to get it to Cripps. Ricochets off his foot. Doherty's having a fantastic season. Links up with Gibbs. Now to Cunningham. Gets his first possession. Kick towards half forward. Here's Wright again, one-on-one with Gardner. Gardner happy to take it towards the line and succeeds.
That was really smart then by Cripps, though, too, the fact that he knew that he was being warned by Robinson. Didn't try and pick the ball up. He actually just tried to direct the ball by foot to one of his teammates.
Cruiser caught from behind. Martin at the front, straight down to Gibbs, and he's immediately taken in a tackle by Bastanak.
And you would think that both Gibbs, Lee, and also Cripps are going to have big days today inside, get their fair share of the ball.
His clearance work outstanding. He's the leading clearance player in the whole competition, Cripps, so he's been amazing in close.
Hanlon up got the tap. Zorko dispossessed. Cripps gets it to Gibbs. Kicks towards Jones at half forward, one-on-one with Andrews, and it spills over the line and out.
And look away handball then by Cripps. He just knows where everybody is. He's got terrific peripheral vision.
He's got great size, hasn't he? Yep. I mean, 195 centimetres, so he's got size and bulk as well as the physical talent.
Cruiser tried to get it to Cunningham. Rich taken off the football. Rockcliffe taken down and tackled by Cripps. Cruiser in there working at ground level. It's pretty tough to get an easy possession in there right now. Rockcliffe manages to soccer it free, but it's Carlton first to the football through Buckley.
High tackle, Carlton.
And we heard it front on contact from Keys. Buckley with the free kick. 55 out from goal, Dylan Buckley. Once again, attacks the top of the square. Jones in good position. Whistle goes.
Levi Casbolt hold.
There's a free off the ball against Merritt, who was impeding Casbolt, so he couldn't even get to contest the mark.
We're the worst team at conceding scores. Once a team's inside forward 50, this is their third entry and another third scoring shot.
Really is just a long high ball, isn't it? I mean, it should be an easy spoil when there's a pack situation in there.
And Jude, the Blues are the worst in the comp at converting inside 50s into scores, but it's been a good start for them. And Levi's on the board.
Here's the kicking action of Levi Casbolt. Watching him doing the warm-up, and he was nailing them from about 45 out, so that is a good sign.
Early concerns for the Lions. Contested possessions 9-4 in favour of the Blues. Cripps getting busy early. Here's one for Robinson. Does well. Swats a tackle. Kicks it long to the top of the goal square. Some pressure on the Carlton defence. Close is there. There's a free kick in the back. It's going against Jansen to Simon White.
So that deep kick out of the centre just puts the defence under enormous pressure.
So Simon White, one of the veterans of this side. Lex to come, broadcast side of the ground. Cruiser will arrive late. Merritt alongside him. It spills to Zorko. He spears one low inside 50. Too much on it for Jansen. Easily picked off by White. Assessing his options. Tempted to switch, and in the end elects to do so. Awkward looking kick. Dangerous kick. Beat Lewis Taylor with the awkward bounce. It's still alive for Hipwood. Gives it to Rich, who makes them pay.
He does a little bit of work here, Rich, before he actually gains possession of the ball too. There's a good physical bump there. Knocks the Carlton player over, then receives the ball, and we know that he's got a wonderful left foot.
So back in the middle of the ground. Phillips into the ruck. Got it down to Curnow. To Gibbs, off a step, spirals it towards 50, off the hands of Casbolt. Cruiser tried to get the hands free, throws his boot at it, keeps it moving for Buckley. He's under pressure from Cutler. Little kick will only go as far as Cruiser. Feeds it back to the voice of Cunningham. Off a step, the kick smothered. Ricochets to Hanley. Hanley to Cutler. He goes looking for Jansen. He comes over the top of Simpson. Zorko collides with White. Jansen comes in high over the top of Simon White. An advantage will be paid to Simpson. Simpson will kick it deep inside 50. Up goes Jones, one-handed, couldn't quite haul it in. As Gardner gives it to Cutler. And now Matheson. Thought about the kick, the give by hand, and in the end was caught betwixt and between. Put it out on the full. Rowe goes backward to Plowman and now to Gibbs.
He's already enjoying a little bit more space than he got against them last time.
Gibbs swings it wide to Kerridge, who marks in front of Daniel Rich. Critical battle, that one. Kerridge spears it low inside 50. It was too hot for Casbolt. Couldn't quite get there. We'll have a throw in.
Yeah, Robinson's been that one who's gone to Cripps around stoppages, but then you can see the selflessness at times of Cripps. He's gone trying to get to Rockcliffe as well at times.
Some interesting midfield battles this afternoon. Martin got the tap to a dangerous position. Bastanak against Curnow. Rich got there first. Got it to Matheson. He's taken down in a tackle by Curnow. Rockcliffe's handball went nowhere. Thomas on the bottom of that pack. He's got Taylor on top of him, and holding the ball is the decision.
Well, as soon as you dive on the ball, you're in trouble.
So Lewis Taylor, such an exciting young prospect. His next generation Lions, the 21-year-old.
They've been very good at this, though, Carlton, all year, this press. They push up pretty high, their defence.
Bastanak goes long. Walker had a piece of it, couldn't quite bring it down. Nicely roved by Lester. Hipwood under pressure, got the hands free to Matheson. Quick kick from Rockcliffe, goes down the line, and Jansen had to stand and wait. Does just that. He's got some run from behind. Here goes Zorko through the middle of the ground. Will kick it inside 50. In best position, it was a beautiful kick to close. Cunningham just found himself. He'd lost body contact. Ball was flying in, and Close took it on his chest.
That's the modern defence, isn't it? It's not actually trying to protect the lead forward. It's running back with the flight of the ball and trying to position yourself. Just the forward should have that slight advantage. He's watching his teammate with the ball. The defender's half watching the ball, half zoning, half playing man-to-man. So the forwards, when they're running back with the flight, seem to judge it as they should.
So an opportunity here for Michael Close. His 5th year on the list, just his 17th game and his 2nd for the season. And he makes the most of that one. The Lions get their 2nd.
Only the 3rd inside 50 entry for the Lions, but they've got a couple of shots at goal and a couple of goals from those. Carlton are 7 for 3 scoring shots. So they've had field position, but the Lions have defended quite well back there.
2 goals apiece. Cripps again, first possession, but taken to ground. Phillips, good tackle on Rockcliffe. Quick kick from Robinson. Doherty goes back with courage. Spills off the contest to Archie Smith. Handball to Taylor. Did well. Stepped inside Cripps. Opens up the corridor. Gives it to Rockcliffe. Rockcliffe looks up. Sees a man inside 50 and delivers. Hits him on the chest. Pierce Hanley.
It's nice use. He was clear Hanley, but Rockcliffe had to find him. And when you've got a bit of the space in the front part of that centre square, the whole 50 metre is in front of you, is open, but you still got to pick the right target and execute the right skill. Did that really well, Rockcliffe.
It was Lewis Taylor coming back inboard, wasn't it? Opened up the corridor and gives Hanley a relatively simple shot, which he converts. And the Lions have the lead.
Yeah, as you can see on both benches, they've got their fans running, especially on the Carlton bench. They've made 10 rotations already. The Blues, and yeah, they're really struggling with this heat. There's wet and cold towels around.
It's going to be a spirited contest, this one. Wins have been hard to come by for both these sides. There's a real vibe around that they both believe they can win this game, and rightly so, as Rockcliffe comes away from the middle of the ground towards half forward. That's a well-judged mark by Hanley, wasn't it? One-hander. Goes towards the top of the goal square again. Rowe goes back, read it well. Fisted through for a minor score.
That's a great defensive knock there by Rowe. If you're going to tap the ball, knock the ball, just make sure you kill it right over the boundary line. And there's no way that that ball's going to go to ground and allow Brisbane Lions ground level play to mop it up.
Doherty. Penetrating kick out towards Cruiser. Couldn't quite hang on to the mark under pressure from Andrews. It spills to Zorko. Confronted by Gibbs. Gives a little handball to Bastanak, who scrubs a kick inboard. Rowe attacks it. Not a lot of time to get rid of the football, so he did well. Got it to Curnow. Simpson. And now Tui. Tui kicks long to the wing. Casbolt with a couple to beat. Over the top came Cutler. And he gets it to the line.
What's interesting is that when you're the third defender, sometimes you get easy access to the ball to jump to mark, or if you try to spoil, you've got to affect the spoil. You've got to make sure that the numerical advantage at least creates what has happened here, at least a stoppage.
Smith and Cruiser both tapped towards the line. Cripps couldn't quite. Cruiser gathered just inside, was then taken out. Umpire said deliberate, he walked it over.
Don't get it much margin for error there. Not much leniency if you take the ball over the line.
So Bastanak takes the man on the mark on. Cruiser steps around him with the greatest of ease. Goes off the left inside 50. White did well, got the fist in. Curnow, quick kick back towards Casbolt, who's worked under the football by Merritt. Cruiser was taken down by Zorko. Good tackle. The Blues were a chance to bust away there. It was a good tackle from Zorko. Held it up.
That's a great sign too, isn't it, when you see one of the smaller players on the ground tackling one of the biggest blokes on the ground with that pressure. That can become infectious.
Zorko back inside 50 for close. Couldn't quite bring it down. Now lays a tackle at ground level. Make sure they get a stoppage.
Zorko's one of the few guys with a burst of acceleration in the Lions outfit, so they're the guys who've got to do the chase down tackles, because you've got to have the speed to get there in the first place. You've got to have the will, but then you've got to have the athleticism.
Smith and Cruiser again, straight to Simpson, who's taken down by Matheson.
The tackle's already 14-8 Brisbane Lions way, so I think that's an indication of their intent.
Good endeavour early, laying some pressure through the hands of Boakhurst. And once again, it finds the boundary line. Lee, I asked Justin Lepage about confidence. From your experience as a coach, when your side has been beaten around a little bit, he's given up 52 goals in 2 weeks. How do you instill that confidence in the players?
Well, you're going to try and refine it. Forget about the scoreboard. Just what are your 2 or 3 things you have to do to be competitive, to give you the best chance? Because your confidence is going to be down, has to be.
Hanley took Boakhurst down. Doherty's quick kick only as far as Zorko. The Blues under real pressure here.
This would be his 5th possession too, or 6th possession.
Zorko to a dangerous position over the back. It cleared the pack. And probably just waiting at the back for his opportunity. Was close, and it ended up hitting him on the chest.
There was almost 4 players you thought they were going to fly for the aerial contest. Maybe someone pushed a few of them under the ball, but yeah, Close he was the one who didn't fly, and the ball falls into his hands. So that's not going to happen too often. But
the whole pack looked like it got moved then, or they completely misread it, except for Close.
So a chance for him to kick his 2nd goal. As I mentioned, he spent 5 years on the list. He had an ACL last year, so great opportunity for him to stake his claim late in the season. And he's got 2 in the opening term. So Michael Close missed last year with that ACL injury, and then this year he missed 6 weeks with a hand and wrist problem. He spent 7 of the last 8 playing in the NEFL, the Brisbane Lions reserve side, and now he gets his chance, and he's grabbing it with both hands right now. Curnow with the clearance, but only as far as Mays.
Zorko 6 touches, 5 of those have gone inside 50.
So the Lions growing in confidence and stature right now as Keys takes the mark in front of Armfield. The Blues are struggling to get time in possession right now.
They're putting an extra player behind the ball too.
So Keys goes down the line. Walker is his target. Some body work from Wiedering. Links up with Curnow. Curnow floats a handball over the top. Simpson has to get rid of it quickly and does. Jones goes back with the flight. Spoil from Harris Andrews. Awkward bounce for Cutler, opens a door for Wright. Handballs to his own advantage. Tries to gather just inside the line but loses his footing, and Armfield's taken over and out by Keys.
Well, if you think about Carlton's 2 goals too, both of them were errors from the Brisbane Lions defence. The first was the kick out, the second was the free kick to Levi Cashbolt.
Effectively unearned goals.
That's right.
Their couple with
They haven't been able to construct anything.
No, we haven't seen any fluency off half-back from the Blues just yet. Armfield in a one-on-one battle with Jansen. Right, White gets it to Gibbs. Inside 50, Jones will take it on his chest.
That's the 3rd time that he's flown for a mark. Harris Andrews is a good young player, but I think he has to understand that Liam Jones is an excellent mark.
I think Merritt's got him at the moment.
Oh, has he? Okay.
I mean, they change overs, and Merritt just didn't go with him. He's actually just losing him in the air a little bit.
If there's one thing that Liam Jones has shown throughout the course of his career is he if you don't block his run to the ball,
he can jump.
He can jump and he can catch it.
It really is the strong point of his game, isn't it? He just smashes packs. Sometimes he takes his own teammates out, but he does attack the contest ferociously in the air. His kicking can be a little shaky, and he floats in and out of games. This for his confidence and an early goal. Makes good contact. Can he work it back? Not quite. Just slides across the face for a minor score.
He's the second part of the equation with Liam Jones. He's always looked like he can jump for a mark every now and again, but he's about a 1 or 2 out of shot at goal, so then ends up not converting many.
Cutler to Zorko again involved. Here's Martin, and the Lions get some flow from half-back. Rowe goes back, gets the touch on it. Taylor at the front couldn't gather the bouncing ball. Rowe's confronted. Body work from Simpson, opened the door for Wiedering. He's taken down by Close. Good pressure. Smith. Cunningham tries to get through, can't do so. Taylor gets it on the boot quickly and dribbles it through for another one. So a mad scramble ends in the hands of Rockcliffe. He throws it on the boot quickly. And Brisbane, with their best first term of the year at the Gabba, they've got 5 on the board and lead by 17 points. Phillips straight to Robinson, who's sat on his backside. Jansen put his head over the football and won it. Martin to Robinson, to Bastanak, to Mays. Now Lester goes towards half-forward, free kick against Rowe.
Yep, good work.
At the moment, they just can't stop the ball flow of the Brisbane Lions.
Hipwood has it.
They're small, buzzing players. They're quick players at ground level are doing some real damage too.
They've won the clearances 9-6 at this point, Carlton, but the key ones, the centre square ones, the Lions have got 3 or 4 of those and did a good job then Hipwood just to hold his position, so at least Rowe had to look to grapple.
So there's the angle. He trots across the 50. Starts it to the right, tries to work it back, but can't do so. Minor score. It's actually on the outside that Brisbane are getting them at the moment. Uncontested possessions, 30-19.
Yep. It's the speed on the outside. I think they've looked at Carlton and they believe that that's an area that St Kilda really got them last week, and that can be an area that they can have a distinct advantage this afternoon.
Simpson to Thomas. Kick hung a long time in the air. Plowman did well, waited underneath it, took the mark. He's now got some support run in the form of Doherty. Kicks towards half-forward. Jones once again snuck in behind Andrews. Couldn't quite complete the mark. Gives it to Armfield, who lights up the Jets from 45. Skins the kick, but it'll work well. Straight into the hands of Phillips, who marks inside the goal square. He'll get probably moved around to directly in front, I'd suggest. He will.
Andrew, you're straight in front because you marked it inside.
One of the few times for the game where Carlton has just flowed the ball from the back half through the midfield into the forward line. The couple of other goals that they've got were basically congested area wins.
So Andrew Phillips, just to settle things down for the Blues from point-blank range. He gets Carlton's third.
There's Patrick Cripps on the bench at the moment. He's got a hard tag with Mitch Robinson. Obviously, Robinson's doing a fantastic job early. He's only had the 3 disposals, Patrick Cripps, so he needs to get active at those stoppages.
Cruiser got hands on the football. Hanley slapped it towards Bastanak. It ricocheted off Gibbs. Coming in off the back of the square was Cutler. Thumps it long and deep inside 50 again, and beautifully judged mark from Doherty. Looked to be out of position, held it well. Got it to Curnow, who floats a handball to Tui. And now Wiedering off half-back. Long kick around the wing. Boko's flew early.
Gave away a free kick.
So Jones, a spectacular effort, all for naught. Darcy Gardner receives the free kick. He goes inboard to Cutler. So how's the Blues' defensive structure? Brisbane have been able to work their way through it so far in this first term. On this occasion, it's Wiedering. Stands tall and takes the defensive grab. Thought about the switch. Doherty was then covered, so he realised he needed to run about 15 metres so he could go to the deeper option. It was smart football. He found Rowe, and that now opens up Simpson. So the Blues with some space. Off half-back to Cunningham. He can go down the line to Simpson, and he's got Kerridge for support. Kerridge will lay the shepherd on Walker, allowing Simpson to run to 65. Spears it inside 50. Wasn't a great kick. And Mays picked it off.
It was a poor kick, but they're certainly generating more overlap run, and that's what they need. They need to get Doherty and Simpson into this game.
Mays goes straight up the middle of the ground and spots an open man at defensive 50. It's Hanley who gives it off to Rockcliffe. And now it's going to come back the other way because Martin snuck away from Cruiser. He'll kick it long. Inside 50 once again to some one-on-one contest off the chest of Hipwood. Wiedering pirouettes out of trouble and feeds it back to White. To Curnow, who had to stand and wait, and Zorko sneaks across and steals it.
Isn't he playing something?
Read that well. Yeah, no, he's such a penetrating player, so if he gets the ball, because he can run and carry, he's always a dangerous player with when he's in the game, as he is in this first quarter, isn't he?
15 gone!
8th possession for Zorko coming up.
Operating at 86% too, Jason.
And then you've got Rockcliffe with 8 at 75%, so 2 of the real gun midfielders getting plenty of the football. Zorko winds it up and puts it through. So, Lee, you'd have to say the early midfield battle's going Brisbane's way. Rockcliffe and Zorko doing plenty of damage. The Blues don't really have a damaging midfielder just yet.
Well, they've gone forward. How many times they've gone forward? Look at it, 13 times for 6 goals too. So their forward conversion's been outstanding, the Lions, this early stages.
Robinson feeds it to Rich. He's going to get run down by Carriage, but slipped the tackle. Cripps taken to ground as he carried forward, play on. Somehow he got to his feet with strength. High kick towards half forward. Here comes Jones again over the top. Spills to the front of the contest, and Jansen. His handball partly smothered to Merritt. He's taken down. Matheson. He's taken down as well. Gibbs. Quick kick inside 50. Brisbane with the numbers, and that's a beautifully judged mark by Bastanak. Had the sun to contend with and did it well. Hanley provides the run. Gets an awkward bounce. He's got Curnow for company. Wheels inboard. Delivers to Matheson and or Hipwood. Hipwood takes it on the bounce. Kicks on the turn. Smith and Rowe go back with the flight. And it pitches just inside the line for a throw-in.
These conditions, Lee, are they an advantage for the Brisbane Lions or not?
It's always interesting, that one, isn't it? I don't think you're sort of so much used to the sun, but I guess it is warmer up here this stage of the year, this in the southern states. So it's got to be a slight advantage, one would think.
Cruiser slaps towards the line. How will the umpire read this one? He says deliberate.
No one there.
It's not hot, but we're talking about mid-20s type temperatures coming out of a very cold winter down in Melbourne.
It's all relative, isn't it? And certainly relative to Melbourne, it's hot as Bastanak goes inside 50.
It's hot for footy. That's the point.
Well, we walked out there
as we said early, Tim, it's been nice to be on the beach, be beautiful, but it's hot to play footy.
And the Blues, this is their 3rd interstate trip in 4 weeks, so they want to be making a better fist of it early on as White goes long. That was a really important hand in there from Harris Andrews. One-on-one with Jones. Kerridge arrives. Great smother from Rich. The Lions doing the little things well right now. Cutler. Harris Andrews. And now Cutler off half-back. Kick misses the body of Walker.
That's a poor kick, but you're right. You called it beautifully. Harris Andrews, just to get that hand in there, and that just underlines why he is such an important and developing youngster for the Brisbane Lions. Ranked by Champion Data as one of their top 20 key defenders in the game.
Just 19 years of age, drawn comparisons with Dustin Fletcher. It's high praise indeed. Rich Managed to get the handball out, at least something that looked like a handball. Under pressure from Keys to Cutler. And now Robinson. Once again, they attack inside 50. Rowe in best position. It bounced off his chest. Opens the door for Walker. Now Taylor, tight pocket. Goes to the top of the goal square and finds Archie Smith. And once again, that quick ball movement inside 50 has the Carlton defence on their heels.
They had the extra number back in that aerial contest at half forward, but Hipwood was good enough to make sure that the ball didn't get marked, and then the Lions had the numbers once the ball did come to ground level. That's what big forwards have to do. Doesn't matter how young you are, you've got to try and make sure if you don't mark it, the opposition definitely don't, and bring it to ground. And the Lions' big forwards have largely done that in this early stage.
So third game for Archie Smith, the former junior basketballer. And he gets his first goal in AFL football. Great start from the Lions. He's a great story, Archie Smith. His dad played in the NBL, was an NBL All-Star. He had offers from 8 Division I colleges in the US. He was spotted by Brisbane scouts playing in the Under-18 State Basketball Championships in 2012. And less than 12 months later, he's on an AFL list, and now he has an AFL goal.
Yeah, very promising young ruckman. Still only 22. Early days, but shows a lot of promise when he matures.
So the Brisbane Lions now with their best opening quarter since 2014.
They're all amateur statisticians, the players. They always know when their teammates kicked his first goal.
Cruiser and Martin, neither an effective tap.
High tackle, Brisbane.
It's going to Jansen. Another of these youngsters getting an opportunity. Former Cat, Jared Jansen. Once again, they want to get it in quickly. It's worked for them as Rowe comes over the top, and that's a fantastic opening term from the Lions. You could see them growing in confidence as the quarter went on. It's been a couple of really tough weeks for them, but they've come out and kicked 7 goals in the opening term, and they lead by 24 points at the first change. So two sides eventually separate. Brisbane 7-2-44, Carlton 3-2-20, quarter time on Saturday, Arvo Footy. Well, Brendan Bolton stood out this year for his calm, mild-mannered demeanour, but none of that at quarter time. He was fuming. Came out and tore strips off a number of the Carlton players. By contrast, quarter's a long time in football. Justin Lepich, calm and in control. He'll be pleased with what he's seen from his side. It's the Lions by 24 points at the first change as we head down to Jude.
Jason, Lucky, the best opening quarter by your side since 2014. Really positive start.
Yeah, it was bold. So message this week has been pretty simple about when we lose the ball back, the ability to pair off pretty quickly, and then when we win it, just have a go, move it fast and see how we go. So it was a pleasant start.
And a great start also from Mitch Robinson on Patrick Cripps.
Yeah, we give him that job. He had Gibbs last time, and obviously know what a great young player that Cripps is. So, yeah, he started well. We'll see how he goes.
Good luck.
Thanks, Bob.
So, gentlemen, why is Brendan Bolton so fired up? Obviously, they're 4 goals down. What in particular would have infuriated him, Lee?
I think the 7 goals that the Lions scored, I mean, basically the Lions have scored a little bit, but that doesn't mean their strength. And Carlton's ability to stop the opposition, that has been what they've been good at. So, conceding a 7-goal quarter, they've only had 11 tackles. I think that would have been the primary cause of his angst, and rightly so, because that is one part of the game Carlton have been pretty good at, defending.
So the Lions by 24 points as we start the second term. The Blues with plenty of work to do. The sign's not good for them in the first 30 minutes of football. Can they respond to the spray from Brendan Bolton? Robinson got his foot to the ball. Relatively ineffective kick. 2 Carlton players went at it hard, Buckley and Cripps. Martin got it to Robinson. Tumbles a kick, a high ball inside 50. Doherty went back with the flight, couldn't quite bring it down. Curnow now scrapping at ground level with Taylor. Neither could take possession. Buckley in there on the bottom of that pack.
When the coach gets that close to you and he's pointing you, you're never in doubt as to who he's talking about, Lee.
Yeah, no, he was looking in the eyes.
Martin, Gibbs couldn't quite take it. Rock lifts, handball went straight into the shins of Curnow, who gathers and gets it to Buckley. Buckley towards the wing. And Casbolt
Carlton, straight back.
manages to hang on. Can the Blues move it quickly? What's he got ahead of the football? Gets it and goes. Ugly looking kick towards half forward for Silvani. He's taken down by Hamilman. Gibbs feeds a handball. Silvani gathers on the bounce. Looks up. Not a lot of space to work in. Fashions a kick inside 50. Armfield attacked it. It ricocheted off Mays. He'll have a throw in.
Well, there's 4 players in that first quarter that didn't have a tackle. Bokhorst, Silvani, Buckley and Armfield. All players that have been playing in the front half to a ground level. And I think that would be one of the concerns for Brendan Bolton, with the lack of pressure on the Brisbane Lions defence.
Cripps hunts the football, but Gardner takes it, coming back the other way, so Cripps takes him down. Still fighting Patrick Cripps. Moves it forward, Hanley. One of those awkward ones for Matty Wright. There was really nowhere for him to go. Mays' kick, off balance, and out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, it is difficult. I mean, we're trying to protect the player who's got his head over the ball, so if his head's over the ball coming forward, the player who's coming from the front opposition has got very little margin to do anything much.
Wiedering to a big pack of players. Cripps again tracks the ball at ground level, gives a little dish to Buckley, who did well, stepped through a tackle. Quick hands to Curnow, but that handball intercepted by Gardner. Kicks for space. Plowman waits on the umpire's decision and
got the bounce he was looking for.
Yeah, he did.
You don't always get that bounce, but that's exactly what he intended to do when he kicked the ball into that space.
Certainly eased up on the deliberate rule. What do you think of the interpretation in more recent times?
There was a couple of sharp ones last night.
It's a bit fits and starts, isn't it? Keeps you guessing. Rockcliffe to Robinson, and now Zorko. Zorko to 50. Some good early body work.
Well done. Good, Mark. What you were saying, they've got to change the wording, because it's not deliberate out of bounds. It's not trying to keep it in.
Yeah.
So that's the rule. Let's change the wording.
Yeah.
Because it's far more harsh than deliberate.
I think the other thing that Carlton has to change is the way they're playing Zorko this afternoon too, because he is just chopping Carlton up. He's had 10 kicks now and 6 inside 50s.
So Ryan Lester from almost directly in front, and he keeps Brisbane's momentum rolling.
This is just unacceptable from the Blues. They were slow to set up from that stoppage, and it just allowed Brisbane to get the run. They were hit it outside and then a long entry in, but it was just very, very poor from the Blues.
Yeah, 3 uncontested players right there, as we saw in the replays. Curnow feeds it back to Gibbs. Gibbs now to Cripps. Can Carlton's engine room get going? Tucks it under his arm, goes for a run. Gets away from Bastanek. Spears it inside 50. Casbolt couldn't quite hang on. Smith at ground level. Right it was. Got it to Kerridge. Silvani taken down by Rich. Silvani under pressure goes again, but ineffective kick. Hamilman goes long towards the wing. Bouncing ball in front of Tui and Hanley, the 2 Irishmen.
Cripps might have to do a Bontempelli. I thought that last night he single-handedly lifted the Bulldogs in that second half over the line, and we're seeing already in the second quarter here Cripps just trying to inspire his teammates.
There's so much work in tight. At the moment, of course, Sorko's the one who's getting it in space and running with it, and Cripps more a getter than a carrier.
Bastanek and Lester slap it on, but only as far as Curnow. His kick's cut off by Robinson. Robinson goes towards half forward, close versus Rowe, off the hands of that contest. Bouncing ball towards the line, and over it goes once again. So Ed Curnow leads the way for Carlton with 11 possessions, Gibbs with 9, Cripps with 7, but just not having the same dominant impact that Zorko and Rockcliffe are having right now. They're getting it in such dangerous positions for Brisbane. Hipwood came over the top. Here's Robinson again. Steps around Buckley onto his left boot. Screws it back to the top of the square. Some marking options. Walker got hands to it at ground level. Leicester lurking with intent, but it's taken by Wiedering. He just thumps it long. A couple of players down after that contest. And Merritt picks it off. So Phillips a little bit sore, just pushing the trainers away as he looks to get back into position. As Mays goes to Andrews. Now Rich takes on Silvani, couldn't get past, released the handball, picked off by Tui. Armfield.
That was a great tackle then by Silvani. Although it didn't stick, it just slowed Rich down enough. Had he been able to break that, he was just going to be running to just outside 50 with that lethal left foot.
Hanley slaps it down into space. It's socket off the deck by Kerridge. One-on-one contest. Silvani beaten to it by Hamilman. Goes inboard to the support of Keys. Now Rockcliffe.
That's good use.
And look at the numbers. 3 men all alone inside. Taylor gets it and delivers to guess who? Zorko. Once again, and gets another inside 50. This time he misses his target. And the Blues can tidy up through Thomas. Directionless kick out towards the wing. It meanders towards the line. It doesn't quite go out, and it allows Buckley to run onto it. It worked perfectly. Buckley tumbles it inside 50. Silvani one-on-one with Hamilman. Takes possession, is wrapped up. 2 to beat. Won't be able to get the arms free. A couple of young guns going at it. Jack Silvani, the 18-year-old, against Matthew Hamilman, the 20-year-old. The tap, and once again it's Cripps, but gang tackled. Rockcliffe took him down. Taylor tries to step inside Armfield, and Cunningham takes Mays to the line.
They've done their homework too on Cripps. 3 players went at him then, and we know that he's very good at breaking that first, even that second tackle, and still getting his hands free, but he just couldn't get them free then.
Yes, he's had Chris Judd as his mentor last season. First thing he does is get those hands up high, and here's Cripps again, off the hands of the ruck contest, kick just across the face.
He's busy, Chris Judd, at the moment. He's mentoring Zach Merritt as well. He might become the new midfield whisperer.
He's the mentor. Yeah, no, he's great around those stoppages. You've got to be careful, Cripps, because he just gets on the end of them beautifully.
Rich, beautiful kick. Punches it to half-back, and again, Zorko in some space. Gardner had a slight fumble. He's got some time to recover, and now it's Taylor. Taylor can come through the wing. Calls for a man to lead up towards him. That's what Smith tried to do, but the kick had too much on it. Maybe consulting, mentoring might be the new coaching, Tim. You can be all care and no responsibility.
Well, he said he was going to become an entrepreneur. Juddy, we just didn't know which field he was going to concentrate on.
Phillips and Smith. Curnow at the back. Gathered the loose ball and got it to Thomas. Levi with a couple to beat. Casbolt. And Merritt picked it off. Wants to bring it inboard and does. Again, lines in some space. This is Cutler. And the hard run once again of Zorko. Coming the other way was Simpson, but didn't affect the contest. He steps inside Boakhurst, delivers to the pocket, and Dane Zorko is playing a stellar half of football as he finds Hanley.
Great contest, Wendy. He had blood rule against Hanley.
This is the best half or quarter and a bit you've seen from Dane Zorko this year, Lee?
Well, yes. He's been outstanding. I haven't seen every game, of course, but his influence on the game has been, he's had 10 kicks, so a lot of players have a lot of disposals, a lot of handballs just to get themselves out of pressure, but he's got his ball with a bit of space and he's used it beautifully, so his influence has been outstanding.
So Pierce Hanley off for the blood rule, so Zorko will get his 14th possession.
How does he end up with the ball here? He kicked it to him.
Well, he still was the closest player, so it was quite strange, phenomenal.
So 14th touch coming up. He's had 8 inside 50s, 5 score involvements, and a chance to kick his second goal. And he does. Dane Zorko on fire at the Gabba. Impressive numbers.
He's white hot at the moment, Jason. White hot.
14 touches at 86%.
I mean, even that's amazing. Even when you kick it to somebody inside the 50 to set up a shot and you end up with the ball yourself. I mean, that is your day, isn't it?
Yeah, you look at the stat sheet, you've had back-to-back kicks.
Don't know whether we could say he earned the goal, but he actually had to convert it. And he did. He set up Hanley and then had the shot himself.
Well, when you're hot, you're hot. And
is that the first scoring assist to yourself?
So he's kicked the ball to Hanley. He's certainly not the closest player, is he?
It's not often you get a kick inside 50, score, assist and goal all in the one passage of play.
Block, Carlton.
So now a chance for the Blues. Things starting to get a little desperate here. The margin out to 6 goals. Carlton need to stabilise the situation. Cruiser thumps it long inside 50 and up goes Casbolt. 40 metres out from goal, directly in front.
Well, that is the best feature of his play. His aerial strength, his ability to take a contested mark. Jumps early. He's got big, strong body. Merritt can't reach around it. And I saw him kick one from this exact same position pre-game.
He has got one on the scoreboard from the front of the goal square in the first quarter, so he's got one against his name.
Makes beautiful contact with that and gets his second.
We'll have a look at the kick. He's got the high, sort of bit of a two-handed ball drop, so there's a fair margin between hand and foot, so I guess that's why he's inconsistent. Quite often it just wobbles its way onto his instep.
So the Blues with a much badly needed goal as Gibbs comes away. Maybe a chance for another. Goes deep again inside 50. Cripps is down there. Casbolt again. Couldn't quite haul it in this time. Players pile in on top. So once again we see the Blues winning a couple out of the middle. And now that puts the Brisbane defence on the back foot, as we saw Brisbane do so effectively in the first term. Can the Blues capitalise? Cruiser couldn't get an effective tap. Taylor dispossessed. But Matheson can come away. Goes towards Walker. One-on-one with White. It spills over the back to Rowe. Rowe can now use White, who can trot to 50. Looks for an option. Casbolt led towards him. Cripps couldn't quite hang on. Merritt on the bottom of that. Got one high.
Straight up, please. Easy. Nasty, clear out.
Chance now for Daniel Merritt to relieve the pressure.
He was close to swallowing that then too, wasn't he, Cripps? That's the beauty of him too, when he does go forward and he needs to spill out of the midfield. He's big enough to be a key position player.
It's like the Bond and Pally size midfielder. They're mid-190s, so they're key position size.
Matheson gets it to Rockcliffe. Now Cutler comes away from half-back. The pressure came from Boakhurst. It affected the kick, forced the turnover. And now Wiedering, confronted by Keys. Doherty under pressure, taken down by Leicester. Good forward pressure here from the Lions. Curnow, quick hands. Back to Wiedering. Kick towards the wing is socket off the ground by Rockcliffe. Gibbs had a fumble and then compounds the problem by taking Matheson high.
I reckon the sun might have been in his eyes then. He would have been looking directly up at it.
Yep.
Chance for the youngster Reece Matheson, the 19-year-old.
He shows
possession short to Rockcliffe.
He showed a bit too much. He's a little bit untidy with his disposal.
Rockcliffe's kick goes inside 50. You can see once again the target was Zorko. Gathers his own ball. Wheels around off the right boot and kicks another one. Zorko has got 3. And he is lighting up the Gabba.
You're not going to see many better halves of football from a midfielder. He's getting plenty of the ball. He's had 8 or 9 inside 50 entries. And he's kicked 3 goals himself. So it's been just an outstanding half.
There's no junk possessions in there at all. They've all been effective.
He's been very good.
Well, this is just an extraordinary first half of football from Zorko. He's right on the 50 line there. And that's instinctive, but that also shows a lot of skill and a lot of class. And they just have to find somebody that slows him.
A memorable way to bring up your 100th goal in league football. Cruiser with the free kick. Again, he'll attack that forward 50. Goes deep. Phillips up in front. Spills to Buckley. Couldn't take it. Silvani gathers. They all run away from him. That opens up the goal face for Silvani, and he capitalises. The Blues get one back.
That free kick from the centre was a off-the-ball incident. Josh Walker gave a free kick away against Zach Tui. He's come straight from the ground from that one.
So margin back at 29. Smith and Cruiser. Here's Cripps. Blues having a good little period now. Goes inside 50 and there's a nudge. Once again, Carlton looking dangerous when they could win the ball out of the centre, be it via free kick or quick clearance. This time it's Buckley.
Pretty simple, isn't it? If you had hands in the back, it's an automatic free kick. So that's been the rule for a number of years. So any defender has to just resist the temptation to hold them under with flat hands.
Cutler, the man penalised. Dylan Buckley has got good length on his kick. This from right on 50. Gives it plenty, but starts at left and just misses. 28 points the margin, but it's an open affair, so that will give the Blues hope, particularly in these conditions, that the game will really open up in the second half and the ball might be kicking around from end to end. Hamilman, deep in his own back pocket, gets good distance on the kick. Smith sets himself, it spills to the front. Robinson lays a tackle as Smith gets it to Matheson. High ball, awkward to mark. Good effort from Martin.
Boys, Cripps has just hurt his right knee there in that last incident, so he's just in the hands of the trainers coming off now.
He's been keeping Carlton close, hasn't he? So that'll be a bad blow if he's
Mays to Zorko once again. Steps around Doherty, delivers it inside 50. and finds Jansen.
I'm going to ask Jude as to why nobody wants to go near Zorko.
Sorry, mate, I missed that.
We're just talking about Zorko. Another inside 50 from him, as we see on screen there. Patrick Cripps really in some real discomfort there with that right knee that's heavily bandaged. And it appears that he's heading down into the rooms with the doctors.
Yeah, it's already been bandaged, and he's not happy with that at all. He cannot put too much weight on that one.
Jansen turns it over straight onto the chest of Doherty. Doherty finds Armfield at half-back. Armfield chips it short to Curnow. He's looking for an option. Silvani leads hard to the wing. That's ignored. He'll kick longer. Jones will attack it once again in the air. It spills to the front, though. And Mays. Handball found Matheson. Robinson spins through Curnow. Gives it back to Matheson. Off a step inside 50. Some tall timber there for the Lions, and Wiedering over the top.
Don't you love to see that with a young guy playing in his first season?
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Stands on the footy, but also went for his mark, Lee. The confidence to actually go for the ball in the air in that defensive part of the ground. He's going to be a beauty.
Gives it off to Tui. The Blues need some run. Tui can provide it. He wants to draw the man and then give it to Doherty. Instead, he'll go inboard. Still got a couple of options to the outside. One of them's Kerridge. So Tui worked it well. Kerridge goes long. Cruiser versus Merritt at forward 50. Cruiser gathered his own crumb. Armfield arrives with Rich. Martin comes in as well. Armfield can't get it free as we go back and take a look at Cripps. That twist.
It's just an extra bit of weight there, I think, that went down there from Robinson.
Yeah, that looks a little nasty. We'll get an update from Jude shortly as Tui gets it from 52 metres. Pulls it back savagely towards the top of the square. It clears the contest. Harris Andrews versus Jones at ground level. Cutler dispossessed. Rich put his head down, tried to come through. Somehow gets the football. He's taken down by Gibbs. Cruiser goes back to try and fetch it again for the Blues. Sockers it on. Past Jones, past Matheson. Silvani taken down in a tackle. It's pretty willing in there at the moment. Here are the tackle numbers. That would please Justin Lepich. 32-22 in favour of Brisbane. A good attack on man and ball this afternoon.
Yours!
Phillips' backhander intercepted. And now the ricochet lands in the arms of Close, who sets up Hanley. Manages to get the hands free. Robinson one way, Tui the other. Gibbs to White. White towards half forward. And Phillips has got a couple of metres on Stephen Martin and takes it 65 from home. He's got Kerridge tracking to the pocket, as you can see. The sides will go longer. To a big pack once again. Jones in from the side.
That's his trademark, Mark. That is his trademark.
If he's allowed to get 5 or 6 steps at it, Tim, as you said, he just explodes up into the contest.
He's always been a terrific mark if he can get that run and jump and leap at the ball. This is the part that he needs to complete.
Yeah, it's a nice jump in. A big pack mark, close to goal.
And it was that element of his game that excited Mick Malthouse so much when he first got to Carlton and couldn't believe how he attacked the contest, but just needs to find ways to find that consistency and stay involved in games more often. And convert chances, as we've said.
Well, that's the other part of the equation. Well, Levi Casbolt is 2 for 2, and he's often, but Jones is 0 from 2, and that was an absolute sitter. It wrecks your own confidence, doesn't it, in the rest of your game, let alone your teammates' confidence in you.
Rich goes long. Smith flies over the top. Matheson at ground level. Cunningham. Taken when not in possession, goes back, lays a tackle on Jansen. Smith in there working hard again. Taylor had it momentarily. Here's Buckley. Tries to feed it through traffic, but Jansen got a hand in there. His handball went straight to Casbolt. Thomas somehow emerges from the congestion. Finds some space. Awkward kick. Gave Cruiser no chance. And the Lions can tidy up through Harris Andrews. He can find Walker. Walker wants to move it quickly. He's got some run from behind. It's Keys. Keys can kick it long towards half forward. Close. Does he get an accommodating bounce? He's got White for company. And White works him over the line.
That was really disappointing there from Dale Thomas. He's a seasoned, mature type player. When he had that time and space, you'd expect that he would hit the target at that part of the ground. This is all on him the way now the ball's been rebounded by the Brisbane Lions.
So margin at 27 points, 5 minutes remaining until half-time. Game delicately poised right now. Doherty to Boakhurst. Can the Blues break away up the middle? This is Armfield. He's got Boakhurst with speed. Goes down the line to Jones. Had to go up and did well to mark it. There was too much on the kick, but good vertical jump from Jones, and he managed to haul it in. Gets it and goes straight into the man on the mark, and Harris Andrews picks it off. Jansen. Hanley goes inside 50. Walker's pushed forward. And the game's starting to open up in the last 5 minutes as fatigue starts to kick in the run to half-time.
Yeah, just a half-forward line turnover for Carlton when the ball was smothered. And then it rebounds off half-back. I guarantee you forwards are going to be finding a hole in their forward 50, and Walker got back and well found by Hanley. But it was really the smother or the errant kick by Jones that created this.
So 33 games in 4 years at Geelong. Up to Brisbane this year. Playing his 14th game for the Lions. And he puts it through. Important steadying goal there for Brisbane.
This is it. This is the smother. Poor kick, really. Just good manning of the mark, but poor kick, and then it just bounced back down the other end.
Staggering numbers, isn't it? The Blues, their own worst enemy. Of their 11 goals, Brisbane, 7 of them directly from turnovers that Carlton have given them. Phillips slaps to space. Silvani runs onto it with Cutler for company. Curno's handball missed the body of Armfield, but he's got time to track it back. Armfield left foot kick inside 50. Cruiser, Jones, and Richard ground level. Right, he's harassed. Curnow tries to farm it out. He's wrapped up as well. Can he get the hands free? Ball squirts out. Ricochets around, ends up in the hands of Robinson. His kick dropped by Hipwood. White versus Leicester at ground level. Umpire comes in. Ball squirts out. Tui tried to get it to Armfield. It's picked off by Martin. Now Rockcliffe on the bounce. It was attacked by Plowman. He left it behind. Gives a chance to tidy it up. He gives it off to Tui. Off a step across his body towards half forward. A 2-on-2. Off the hands of Jones. Down to right. Swings it inboard. Punched away from Casbolt. Robinson comes through. Loses his footing. And somehow gets to his feet. No one touches him.
Good kick.
And then kicks it long to the wing and finds Close. Great play from Robinson. And the Brisbane crowd appreciate it. Kick down the line from Close to Zorko. His 17th touch coming up. 9 inside 50s and 3 goals, and just a stunning half of football. High kick towards 50. Won't quite count as an inside 50 as Walker and Rowe get there just before it crosses. Hanley put his head down. White tried to bust through.
Holding the man, Carlton.
And he'll get the free kick, Simon White. So just as the Blues were starting to build a bit of momentum, that goal back the other way to Brisbane has just stopped them in their tracks.
Yeah, the fatigue will be setting in about now, much earlier than a normal game. So if there is a turnover, the chase back is going to be really hard because the energy's all to get the footy, and once the opposition get it, gee, it's going to be hard work to chase.
White goes long towards Cruiser. Again, it's Robinson. Wins it off the contest. High kick to half forward, a 2-on-2. Over the back for Doherty. He sees it over the line and out of bounds.
Well, the thing about Robinson too, he started this game in a really negative role on Patrick Cripps, and since Cripps injured his knee, went off the field, he's sort of opened up a little bit more and become more of an attacking offensive player.
There he has. He's up to 15 touches, 5 inside 50s for Robinson. White tries to get it down to Curnow. Quick one to Armfield. Off a step, bends it towards Merritt versus Casbolt. Merritt takes possession. Levi grabs him, tries to take him down, and succeeds.
Okay. Thanks, Dan.
There's not much you can do about that if you
pinned the arm beautifully. Pinned the arm beautifully.
So Casbolt lines up and kicks it long to the wing. Cruiser at the front of the contest. Jones arrives as well. Beautifully done by Zorko. Spun through Armfield. Sizzles a kick towards Hanley, but misses the target. No harm done as it pitched inside the line.
So they've been slaughtered at the ground level, those ground level balls. They've been picked up by the Brisbane Lions.
Yeah, contested possession's almost level, Tim. 71-69 to Brisbane, but uncontested. 94-61 Brisbane.
Just getting him on the outside. The run, carry.
Rockcliffe with a strong tackle.
They also can't hold him up on the mark. It's 40 marks to 25 Brisbane's way, and it's that ability just to limit ball movement, just steady it up a little bit. Carlton have been unable to do it.
Cruiser got it down to Simpson. Quick kick again towards that Merritt versus Casbolt battle. This time it's Merritt, gives it off to Mays, goes to the pocket. Rowe arrived with a defensive fist. Hanley gathered it just inside the line, confronted by Doherty, kept it alive. Jansen and Matheson. Matheson comes over the top. Mark actually paid. He didn't realise it was going to be, so he kicked it quickly, and in the end the Blues were able to defuse it through.
Did he play on, or it just never was a mark in the first place?
Well, the whistle went.
Not sure what happened.
Yeah, I think Matheson was anticipating he was going to get called to play on, and the umpire, I think, may have paid the mark.
Certainly came off the hands in front. I'm too sure of that one.
So Tui goes towards Kerridge. Taylor did enough to worry him out of it. Over the back for Jansen versus Curnow. Coming the other direction was Rich. Jansen on the bottom of it now, trying to get it out. Does enough to get it to Rich. He's harassed by Kerridge. It squirts to Zorko. Another inside 50 for Dane the Magnificent. It's been a magic show this afternoon. And he's found Close once again, and Michael Close can go back and kick goal number 3.
Another good contested mark by Close. I mean, that was really just a one-on-one. Zorko won the ball, and then it was a mismatch, was it? Doherty's certainly not meant to be on Close, but when defenders cover for each other, that we often see a key position player against a medium-sized defender, and it comes quite an easy contested mark.
So right on half-time, a chance for Brisbane to extend their lead even further. Michael Close, a chance to kick his 3rd in the opening half, and from point-blank range, he does. Wonderful half of football from the Brisbane Lions. Just the tonic they needed after a very difficult couple of weeks. And at half-time, they are 12-3-75, leading Carlton 5-5-35. It's the home team by 40 points. Macca's little win at half-time. A great moment for Archie Smith, his first goal in league football, as we mentioned during the call. An elite junior basketballer. His dad was an NBL All-Star. He had Division 1 offers from 8 different colleges, decided to play footy, and hits the scoreboard this afternoon on what so far has been a thoroughly enjoyable afternoon for Brisbane Lions fans. The Lions 12-3-75, leading Carlton 5-5-35. It's a 40-point margin at half-time. Brisbane kicking 5 goals to 2 in that second term. Adding to the concern for the Blues, injury to Patrick Cripps. Just gets the leg twisted underneath that tackle, and you can see straight away in enormous pain as Robinson takes him down and the foot gets caught underneath. He hobbled to the bench. He went down into the rooms, was re-strapped, and we're waiting to hear more on the condition of Patrick Cripps. But the Blues with plenty of work to do. They trail by 40 points at the major break. Well, Carlton fans don't need to tell you just how important Patrick Cripps is. He's one of the great young clearance players of the competition. He became the 2nd youngest man ever to win the Carlton Best and Fairest last year. His numbers have been even better this year. Let's take a closer look at Patrick Cripps.
Look, it's been some hard yards, but I think we're definitely laying some strong foundations for future success. The first few games, you sort of play on adrenaline, and it's like a dream come true. And the more experience you get, and the more you play, the more you feel like you belong out there. And last year, I probably really got that feeling that I belong out there. And this year, I've just really continued to try and develop on my game and try and be the best player I can be. I love going against the best players in the competition. Opposition players run with you, the more tricks you sort of learn to have impact on the game, and it's something that you can't shy away from. And look, I've probably had a bit more this year, but I've actually really enjoyed it. I've learned a lot from it, and there's a few things that I worked on the off-season, especially sort of my leg strength and sort of power work that I try to improve on in my game. And it's not really the pace over 100 metres, it's that first sort of 5 to 10 metres where you get out of stoppage, that burst off the mark. So that's something I worked on, and because the game's so quick, you sort of get to a point where if you start putting too much muscle on, you lose the ability to run. So it's a fine line. It's just something you sort of suck and see what best fits for you. And I feel like at the moment I've got a pretty good management of my body.
Cripps gets a chance to fire from 50, and the Blues are back in business.
I don't overthink my footy too much. I try to pride myself on contested ball and clearance work, and I feel like if you win your own ball, you can be a consistent player. You don't have the biggest tank, so you got to play to your strengths, and I feel like around the stoppages, that's where I have the most influence for the side. So I still feel like I play a bit small because I was so small as a junior, so I'm just starting to realise that I can go forward and take a grab. I'm just happy to keep improving and sort of play my role for the side. I know it's pretty cliche, but you can't really get caught up in comparisons because you can't really control it.
Averaging 27 possessions, 8 clearances a game, and that's a good sign for Carlton fans. Patrick Cripps in the rooms at half-time, moving freely. As you can see there, the knee's been re-strapped, so let's hope it was nothing more than just a little bit of a tweak.
Welcome back to the Gabba, where the Brisbane Lions lead by 40 points. They're in front by 24 points at quarter time. A 7-goal opening term. It's the best opening half that the Brisbane Lions have played under Justin Lepage, and Dane Zorko has been one of the superstars of the first half of Football League. He's had 19 disposals. He's kicked the ball inside 50 on 10 occasions, and really it's looked like it's been the Dane Zorko show in that first half.
The crucial bit, none of that back half cheapies.
No.
He's got all his pretty much forward half. He's had 10 inside 50s, he's kicked 3 goals, and he's constantly run the ball and carried the ball from midfield into the forward 50. So a lot of players might get 20-odd possessions and a half a footy these days, Tim, but very few have been as influential as he has played this particular match. He's just been outstanding.
He certainly has, and you have to wonder, we talked about it at quarter time even, as to who might be playing on him from Carlton, but so much of the balls, we see right there just outside 50, and it's that last damaging, penetrating kick that he's been able to execute inside 50.
And this one, it was interesting, wasn't he? Kicked the ball to Hanley. Hanley went off with the blood rule. This was a beauty, though. I mean, that is just making the goal out of nothing. Turning, winning the ball, and kicking the long goal from the 50-minute mark. No, Dane Zorko, he's been, they've had a good half of footy, 12 goals, 3 from 29 entries, so their conversion's been, and their accuracy's been outstanding.
And we saw a great game of footy last night too at Etihad Stadium between Collingwood and the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs getting home by just the 3 points. This game could have gone any way in that last term.
The Bulldogs just keep sort of getting a couple of goals clear, but then Collingwood would pick them up again, and obviously in the end they just had the 3-point advantage. And
what about the second half from Bontempelli?
Yeah, he's outstanding. When we talk about him and Patrick Cripps, there's two of the young midfielders who are almost what we always used to regard as key position size. So they're great overhead. They kick a lot of long goals. But Collingwood, as they've done, I mean, they've been inconsistent. Clearly, that's why they haven't played finals. But gee, they've had some good games. Yeah. Whereas the Bulldogs have been good all the time. They don't win every week either, but gee, they're consistent, and they've got a fantastic 30-man squad in my view. So even though they've got a few injuries, they still have got a really good 22 each week.
They're one of those sides, aren't they, the Bulldogs, that give great value for money. And it's unknown how deep they might go into the finals, because obviously at some point those injuries are going to cut in deep to their overall performance too at the point into the season.
They don't look like they're going to finish top 4 either, and if you're in the bottom half, or you're in knockout territory from the very beginning.
One of the great performers last night too, we've already talked about Bontempelli, but Darcy Moore was excellent for Collingwood, but he was involved in a nasty incident as we see him go tumbling into the fence there, Lee.
Well, we're old enough, Tim, to remember Waverley. When they built the Waverley Stadium, especially for football about 50 years ago, the boundary line was about 10 metres from the fence, so players wouldn't run into the fence. But clearly at Etihad, I mean, it's only about 3 metres, and that was just a really desperate contest on the boundary line. And those LAD, we had a look at them when we were at the Gabba same. They're kind of almost like got hard ridges.
Yeah.
So he's not only hit a hard surface, he's actually cut himself as well. So, yeah, I think it's an Etihad problem, because it is a little bit too close to the boundary line. You'd like it to be another metre, wouldn't you?
Yep. The good news is that he's okay. The bad news for Carlton fans is that they're not okay at half-time. They trail by 40 points. The second half coming your way after this.
Finals footy is just 3 weeks away. Sydney has booked their ticket in September, but the Saints will need to win this one to keep their chances alive. Or they can book their holidays early. Adelaide viewers will see the Power clash with the D's, hot off their astonishing win against the Hawks.
Oh, they're in raptures here.
It's high-stakes footy on Saturday night.
Yeah, September almost here, and what a final series it promises to be. Such an even race for this year's top 4. Can't wait. It's Brisbane Lions here at half-time by 40 points after a stunning first half of football. They were as good as the Blues were bad as we head down to Jude Bolton.
Yeah, they've been fantastic, the Lions. 8 goals 2 to 2 goals 2 from turnovers. In that half alone, they've been fantastic, playing on at all costs. But certainly, the one thing that I'm really missing from the Blues is just the weight of numbers. They're missing a number of guys. Kerridge is down on his form. He's only had the 5 disposals. Thomas has had 5. And then they're lacking their run. Doherty and Simpson have had 8 and 6 respectively. They need to get involved, as well as Matthew Wright.
Yeah, they've only got 2 players in double figures. Kerno with 16 and Gibbs with 12. And then, as Jude mentioned, Lee, so many of their major runners, just Kerridge 5, Armfield 5, Thomas 5, Wright 4. They just haven't got anything. Boakhurst 1. They just haven't got anything from that sort of mid-sized, small forward midfielder type.
It's only a basic number, but the clearances of 15 Lions, 25 Carlton. So in terms of taking the ball clear from the stoppages, Carlton have done that fairly well. And even their inside 50s about 27, but they actually, when they're getting into their front half, they're turning the ball over a lot, or the Lions are able to just rebound it. And been a little inaccurate, so the 10 scoring shots from 27 inside 50 entries, nothing great. But they are winning the ball, I reckon, but they're being scored against. That's big time. Yeah. I mean, 12 goals.
The discrepancy, Tim, is on the outside, isn't it? The uncontested possessions, 95 to 61, 34 more to the Lions.
And that's one of the areas when they were playing their better football this year, Carlton, is that they were very good at being able to restrict that in the opposition, but they haven't been able to do that. I reckon they were down on energy too in that first half. It is a balmy 25, 26 degrees here at the Gabba today. I just wonder whether or not you can find some energy at half-time, though, when you're down by 40 points. That's the big challenge.
And Zorko standing as the 7th man on the back of the centre square, so he's been hard to tag. He's been often playing off the back and coming through.
Third term underway at the Gabba. Cripps gets it to Gibbs, who kicks towards Silvani at half forward. Here's Zorko again, straight into the action. This time, Wright picked him up. Wants to move it on quickly, gets it to Kerno. Kerno goes to Casbolt and finds him.
It looks a far easier game when you're willing to play on like Matthew Wright was there. Just get it going, He got it to Kerno very quickly.
So the Blues need to put some early pressure on Brisbane, and that's, I'm sure, the message from Brendan Bolton and his coaching staff. Brisbane haven't had a lot of wins this season, lost 14 of their last 15. If the Blues can come at them in the third term, maybe they can just put a little bit of doubt into Brisbane's minds. But Casbolt with the first opportunity. Can he make the most of it? Yes, he can. Perfect start to the third term for Carlton.
Well, there's that tackling and that pressure in the forward half that they've been looking for. That forces the turnover and a good finish. And Casbolt on fire, and a dead-eye dick this afternoon.
He's kicked 3 straight. Cruiser tries to win out of the middle. Robinson slaps it back the other way. Chance for Rockcliffe to run onto it. He soccers it off the ground. Inside 50, up in front. And standing tall, taking a strong mark, was Tui.
And Jude touched on this at halftime too, about how they've got to try and get some run from half-back. Doherty's been that type of player, good set-up player. Simpson, Tui's capable of running and carrying and delivering the ball too.
Links up with Doherty, and then kicks it long to the wing. Casbolt again, this time couldn't quite hang on. Ground level, had a fumble, wanted to get it to Boakhurst, but missed the body. Coming in the other direction was Hipwood, flips it sideways. Tui versus Robinson. Again, socket forward for Brisbane, inside their forward 50. Rowe at ground level, has to go down and get it. Lester wraps him up.
Boakhurst has to get himself into this game. He's had 1 handball in the first half of football and 1 tackle. And that's the first way you can get yourself back into the game, just with some pressure, just feeling some bodies out there.
We're talking about run. That's his strong suit. That's what they need right now, the Blues. They need some run in both directions. Quick kick towards the forward pocket. Beats Doherty over the line.
I reckon Boakhurst went into his shell a little bit after that early start from Zorko. He started on the wing on Zorko, and once he had that early few touches, he hasn't come out of himself.
I think he might have been in the firing line at quarter time when Brendan Bolton had a couple of words too.
May have just been in the general vicinity, Tim, yes. Taylor feeds it back to Rockcliffe. Touched off his boot at the top of the square. Keys tracks it. Cruiser coming the other way with a big body. Tries to barge his way through. Can't do so. Spills to Bastanak. Throws his boot at it, but misses. Minus score. Ryan Bastanak, the former Kangaroo, played every game this year for his new club.
He's limping too, Cruiser.
Doherty goes short to Plowman. Gets it and goes, and that's not a good kick. Straight into the lap of Rockcliffe, who can measure it from 48 metres out and hammer it through.
Shocking turnover here by Carlton, but Rockcliffe, he didn't mess around, nothing else that was obvious, so he said, I'm inside the 50-metre mark, line it up and kick the goal. That's the 5th goal between him and Zorko, so they've been good forward half midfielders.
They're having quite the day, aren't they? 40 possessions and 5 goals between them. Make it 41 because Zorko's got one, and make it 42 because he gave it to Rockcliffe. Hamilman's kick missed Gardner. Chance now for Wright to get something moving for the Blues. Gibbs tracks it to 50, but he can't keep it alive. So early in the third term, Brisbane's top 2 midfielders with 42 possessions and 5 goals between them. Justin Lepich, maybe mixed emotions, delighted, but also wondering where this has been all year. I'm sure he's very pleased with what he's seeing so far today. Robinson couldn't get an effective handball. Cripps back to Gibbs. Good pressure from Zorko, affected the kick. And Rich picks it off. Rich goes short to Rockcliffe once again. Dangerous kick inboard. Almost returned the favour. He gave it to Wright. Wright to Kerridge. Awkward looking kick off the left. He's going to miss everything. It'll pitch just inside the line and dribble over. Sam Kerridge off balance on his non-preferred.
That was nearly a Rich turnover, wasn't it, again?
Yeah, the back pocket to centre half back, unless the target's a long way clear. But Carlton looked like they intercepted it, but then didn't make the most of it.
Bastanek links up with Rockcliffe. Bounces it towards the wing. Rowe attacks it. Over the top will come Smith. Spills off the contest to Lester.
Good tackle.
And that was a good strong tackle from Plowman.
Lucky Plowman's kick.
And gets the resultant free kick. So Plowman wants to go inboard and backwards. Again, an awkward looking helicopter, but fortunately it pitches kindly for Simpson. He gives it to Tui, who wants to go inboard, but Hanley with speed shuts that option down. Feeds it back to Simpson, who keeps his head and goes to Cunningham. First gamer, his 4th touch. Simpson ran on. Now needs to hit a target inside 50. Was that hands in the back? It was.
Push.
Against Robinson, saying it was his forearm.
Doesn't matter. If you push the guy, your opponent in the back under the ball, it's going to be an automatic free kick. If it's flat hands, you don't even have to push. It's just flat hands and automatic free. But you can argue all you like. I reckon you could watch replay after replay and that would be a free.
I'm fairly confident the umpire is echoing your sentiments, Lee.
I don't think so.
It doesn't matter. So Cripps, can he get the Blues going in this third term? 40 metres out from goal, and he misses to the left.
That's done a great job, though. He's been off the ground, obviously, Cripps, and he's run a bit of the ball, but he hasn't really been able to get the ball out in space. So Robinson's done okay on that matchup. And got a fair bit of the ball himself, so he's been good.
So Daniel Rich gains a few metres. Again, goes low and straight to Jones, who plays on and squares it up to Kerridge, who drops it. He's got some time to recover. Looks inboard, attacks the goal square, right to the line off hands, and that was a comedy of errors.
We are seeing some bad turnovers from both sides.
Well, this ball will feel like a house brick in Daniel Rich's hands right now.
That's extraordinary for somebody who is such a good kick.
And unsurprisingly, he goes long on this occasion. Phillips at the front. Walker jumped early. Wiedering at the back was taken down. Smith came in and accidental high contact on Simon White. So can the Blues find a target inside 50? Jones. Punched away by Andrews at the back right to Kerridge. Armfield off the left. Bends it across the face of goal. Tracking it back is Casbolt. Couldn't complete the mark. Bastanek there.
Everything's hard work when they get to that part of the ground for Carlton, and it has been all year. There's nothing clinical. There's nothing easy. There's nothing systematic about the way they go forward. They work really hard for their 6-pointers.
Jacob Wiedering injured his left wrist in that last one. Just a bit of discomfort at the moment.
Piling on top of this one. The umpire looking for it to come out, and it does. Zorko tries to paddle to his own advantage. Smith. Gardner, quick kick into some open space. Wiedering nudges his man under it. Simpson feeds it backwards to Rowe. Back to Simpson. They concede some ground to retain possession. Nice half volley. In fact, it was a mark taken by Doherty. He got down really low. Just managed to get there. Plowman sells the dummy and buys himself some time. Can go to Kerridge. Kerridge now to Buckley. Buckley can look up and go short. To Cunningham, back to Buckley. 45 metres out. Misses.
Yeah, he's been good for that Lions defence. Harris Andrews, Daniel Merritt's been just okay in the air. He's got marked against a bit, but Harris Andrews is spoiling. He hasn't got the much of the boy himself, but his ability to spoil has been really good down there.
Just gets that awkward hand in, doesn't he? I guess that's where the comparisons with Dustin Fletcher come from. Rowe, big fly. White to Buckley. So the Blues are pressing, but they just need to hit the scoreboard. Kerridge goes short and finds Curnow.
They're getting those repeat entries, but unfortunately they're just not able to set themselves up for an easy shot.
Curnow probably just beyond his range, so he honours the lead of Boakhurst. And Blaine Boakhurst can go back. Have a chance to kick just his third goal of the season with just his second touch for the day.
And this will be his first kick of the day. You're just got to find a way when you're down in form just to insert yourself in a game.
Here's the opportunity for Blaine Boakhurst to do just that. The Blues need him. And he steps up and delivers.
Well done.
Carlton get one back. So it's all about consecutive goals now for the Blues as they look to try and eat into this margin. It sits at 32 points. Phillips versus Smith. Spills to Gibbs. Close quarters to Curnow's, wrapped up by Rockcliffe, affected the handball. Bastanak ran onto it, puts it into the path of Taylor. Coming hard the other way was Plowman, heavy collision. Cutler tries to bust through, got the hands free. Bastanak, he's taken down by Silvani. Zorko in there, wide as well, and we'll have a ball up.
Up we get here.
I think in the last 5 minutes they've become, just see that clash there again, just Plowman lowering the shoulder. They've just become harder to play against Carlton in the last 5 minutes.
Hanley, third man up. Gets it to Rockcliffe, who fends off Gibbs, buys himself some time and feeds it back to Mays. Mays tumbles it towards Hipwood versus Plowman. Off the contest, Simpson taken down by Keys, and Thomas forced over by Jansen. So plenty of time for the Blues, margin at 32 points, but lots of time left in the game. Just need to get things moving. Tui looks to do that, and he does it well to Simpson. And the Blues with an opportunity to get some run off half-back. It's been all too rare this afternoon. Awkward kick for Silvani. Jones slaps it on. Cunningham gathers, turns, links up with Kerridge. He feeds it back to Gibbs. And Gibbs will go inboard and find White. Can get it and go. Gains an extra 10 metres. Will thump it long. Casbolt will be the target. Works to position. Off ground level, it comes to Merritt, who just took a moment, and Casbolt got him. Well, Casbolt looked to be out of the contest at ground level, and Merritt just took that split second, and Levi went, oh, you're still here.
No, well called, Jason. That's exactly what he did. He stayed in the contest. Yep. Yeah. Missed the mark, but he competed well then.
Yeah, Merritt just didn't quite have the reflexes to realise that I'm actually not clear, and he took his half step, but as soon as he didn't dispose of it, then he got claimed. That was it. Good tackle, good free.
So he hang it out to the hangers. He normally hangs them out to the right, Jason.
So there's the numbers for Levi.
He's going the other way.
He has his first miss for the afternoon. Margin 32 points. Mays plays on, gains some territory. Floats a kick to the outer side. Again, a big pack of players on the spill to the front. Sits nicely for Keys, who links up with Lester. Now Taylor, confronted by Simpson. It was a good tackle. It forced him to release the handball. Walker. Lester kept going. Taylor taken down by White. It was a good tackle. The Blues scrambling on the back foot, and Keys just gets rid of Plowman when not in possession. So the Blues just having a few little wins in some of these scraps right now.
This is much better from Carlton.
They've tackled well, they've made it hard, they've stopped the Lions when they had a flow a couple of times. So they're right back in the game.
They've stabilised the situation. Now they need to capitalise on the scoreboard as Plowman goes long towards Jones. It spills to the back. Merritt. He's taken to the line by Matty Wright.
Zorko had 19 at halftime. He's only had the one disposal this quarter as well.
So at the moment he's just at the back of the contest. I'm just trying to pick up who's going to him. Dale Thomas is
I don't
the
think
nearest.
he's actually his direct opponent. I mean, I think he's just on him for the moment. They haven't gone to a tagging setup or anything like that, I don't think.
Buckley can feed it out. Here's Tui. Can give it to Thomas. Thomas can look up. He'll attack Silvani. Couldn't quite hang on. Pressure came late from Hamilman. Merritt gets there first. Looks over his shoulder. Levi Casbolt chases him down. He just gets boot to ball. Cutler to Hamilman. Hamilton towards Jansen. Worked off it by Tui, who feeds it to Thomas. Thomas will go high towards the top of the square again. Coming out was Andrews. Couldn't take the mark. It spills to Cruiser. Quick snap. Floats wide. It's still alive for Wright. Tries to turn Keys. Can't do so. And holding the ball as he put it down on the ground during the tackle.
Straight to him.
So again, hard work inside 50 for the Blues to try and capitalise on their time in forward half, Tim, which at the moment sits at 65% for the quarter.
Yeah, they've turned that part of the game around.
Keys will go long. Armfield at the back was important. Phillips, quick kick inside 50. Robinson tracks it back. Gets away from Silvani. Kicks to the middle. It's going to be a foot race, a bouncing ball. A one-on-one for Close and Rowe. Rowe takes front position. Close right with him. Takes him down. It was a great tackle because he couldn't get the arms free. The Blues had the support numbers, so a great result for Michael Close.
That's a win. That's when the ball up, when you're outnumbered, becomes a win. So it was a good effort by Close.
Robinson, third man up, slaps it into open space. Zorko takes off after it with Simpson. They both leave it behind. Cripps will tidy it up, feeds it back to Gibbs. Gibbs, the switch. It was good vision to Doherty. Now the Blues getting a little bit of run from behind here. This is Buckley. He's got some speed. He's had 2 bounces, 3 bounces over the wing for Buckley. He can keep going. He can go all the way to 50. Instead, he decides to go to right. And Gardner slaps it through for behind.
It was well defended because when he was bursting through the midfield, it was a question, could he find a free target? But in fact, he kicked the ball to the contest.
Mays goes towards the wing, and now a bit of Russian roulette football. It's coming back the other way for Rockcliffe. Rockcliffe will look up inside 50. The man comes towards him. It was a nice kick. He finds Lester. Lester will go to the pocket, and Martin's just snuck away. Quick transition football from the Lions, and Stephen Martin has it deep in the forward pocket.
This game's open right up, as you mentioned, boys, and certainly it's coming down to just kicking efficiency, and Brisbane were running it almost down near 40% earlier in this quarter, but now they're coming up to about 58%.
And opening up is what the Blues need, but if they hurt themselves with poor foot skills, Brisbane can close the door on them pretty quickly. Great angle behind this kick for Stephen Martin. Goes with a banana, just hits a little bit narrow. Minor score. So the Blues need an open game, but at the same time, Tim, they leave themselves wide open to counterpunch if they miss targets.
Yeah, they're moving the ball a lot easier than what they have at any stage of the game, though, right now.
Curnow and Cripps both arrive on the kick from Gibbs. It's fed out to Thomas. The Blues finding some run. Here's Curnow. He's got Cruiser tracking back towards the goal square. He'll head in that direction with Smith for company. Well played, Archie Smith. Timed his leap perfectly.
Those last two, that's good defence, but the last 2 kicks inside their attack, there's been actually no separation with the forward and the defender. That really was sat there on Cruiser's head. Great athleticism to spoil the ball.
So the Blues with a stoppage inside their forward 50. Cruiser takes front spot. Smith with a leap over the top. Falls to Rich. He's got a couple of runners on the outside. Rockcliffe links up with Zorko once again, and now Taylor down the line, well read by Tui, but doesn't quite complete the mark inside the line. It'll be a throw in.
Two grabs.
As a forward, if you can't create that separation, though, you don't want it back over the top. You should be coming back at the ball carrier and lead at them.
So the Blues will be desperate to try and claw back another couple of goals and maybe just try and get within something like 20 points at three-quarter time and give themselves some belief. Cruiser's tap to the front. Matheson. The Lions trying to shut the door on any comeback. Simpson links up with Doherty. 2 of Carlton's best this season. Kerridge lost that in the sun. That opens a door for Zorko. He's got a couple to beat. Can't quite get the hands free. He almost did to May streaming past. So Kerridge lost it in the sun, went back and applied a very important tackle. Martin. Kerridge slaps it away. Zorko gets it on the bounce. Gives it to Rockcliffe. Looks up. Kicks into the man on the mark. It's taken to ground and comes to Merritt. He's wrapped up by Silvani. Just got the handball away, and here go the Blues again. Cripps to a wide open forward half of the ground. Jones has got to think his way through it. He pulls the trigger on the kick and puts it out in front of Cruiser. The big man will gather and wheel around and look to use some support. Umpire said he ran too far. The pressure came from Andrews. Cruiser in frustration saying, why didn't someone come at me and provide some support? None came.
The kick should have hit the target though, the Jones kick.
Martin down the line.
He shouldn't have been put under that sort of pressure, Matthew Cruiser. That's not going to be a strong part of his game to be able to outrun anybody.
Martin's kick inboard to Bastanak.
I mean, again, they get the break in the midfield, Carlton, but they just can't execute.
And it becomes such a tiring pattern, doesn't it? You take off, you run hard to try and move forward, you turn the football over, and all that energy's been for nothing. The Lions now just taking the opportunity to suck in a few deep breaths as Cutler switches to Gardner at centre-half back, and the full switch to the far side, and Merritt. Great effort from Kerridge. He can take off if he can gather it, he can't. It was a wide-open forward half. The opportunity lost, and Kerridge, you can see, he's got not much left in the tank as he takes off after Gardner, who sprays the kick out of bounds on the full.
Come back.
It's getting a little sloppy as fatigue kicks in at the Gabba.
It's warm, players are getting tired. And those three efforts are down to about one at the moment.
Tui goes down the line to Boakhurst.
Mark Daniel, that's it. Stay wide.
You get tired, it becomes more difficult to execute too.
Both sides with the fans going on the bench. You've got the ice working overtime. Boakhurst kick, plenty of height. Jones in from the side. Good defensive fist. Comes to the front. Cutler wrapped up by Wright. Jones tries to slap it out and keep it moving. Bastanak likewise. Silvani, was he taken high? Umpire says play on. Gardner, he's wrapped up by Curnow.
It's one of those forward footy days, I reckon, Tim, isn't it? When you're under pressure, if the ball goes your way, players will get caught defensive side because they haven't got the energy. It's a question of making sure you don't sort of hit it back the opposite way, give them a chance.
Cruiser, quick kick inside 50, picked off by Andrews.
That was casual too.
Little gift to Rich, and Rich to Jansen, who marks in front of Doherty. So Jared Jansen at left half back.
Rockcliffe up to 12 this quarter too, Jason. The next best Brisbane Lions player has had 4 touches in Bastanak.
Plowman came over the top, forced a contest, and it spills to Boakhurst, who's got some speed. He's got some support run too. Buckley can go short to the pocket and find Silvani. Silvani thinks about giving it off, but didn't move off the line. So the youngster will go back and take on the responsibility.
Buckley's given them a bit of drive too and a bit of run, hasn't he? Some outside speed that they were sadly lacking in the first half.
He's been doing to the Lions what Zorko was doing to Carlton in the first half. The guy who can run and carry and break it up and make it really hard for the chaser.
Well, if the Blues are to make a fight back, these are the opportunities they need to take. They've been hard to come by. Jack Silvani, 40 metres out, steps up and puts it through. When we're looking at young players, you look for glimpses. There was one earlier with Silvani in space, and that was a big moment in the context of the game, and given the fatigue level, it was a great kick.
Got the skill and the composure under pressure and fatigue to still kick accurately when the game's not going so great from your team's point of view.
So the margin back to 26 points. Can the Lions now respond through Bastanak? Kick towards the forward 50. Cripps will tidy it up. Buckley left it behind, so Cripps will go again. Throws it out into some open space. The Blues have got 4 runners to 1 here. Cruiser can link up. He can go to Curnow. Curnow's got Cunningham tracking towards the pocket. He doubles back on the lead. He's got Boakhurst in support. Uses him. Boakhurst, 40 metres out. Tries to get the bend on it. Can't quite. It's still alive. And it's fisted through. Out of bounds, in fact, by Darcy Gardner as the Blues try to rally.
The significant thing then was, as you called it, there was 18 inside 50s to 8 this quarter to Carlton. But the fact that there were 5 Carlton players running on this near side and breaking off half back.
Martin to the front. Cruiser soccers it off the ground. Not quite. Andrews stumbles, fumbles and bumbles it over for a minor score.
There was no one near him. He wasn't really under pressure. The fatigue was the pressure, but I think he thought to himself, gee, I can't just rush it over. I've got to fumble it over at best.
He's looked really tired. the last couple of minutes, Harris Andrews.
They look fresher at the moment, Carlton, to me. I mean, they look like they're just running a little bit better. When the ball comes out of congestion, you've got the 2 or 3 Carlton runners working together.
Rich to Cutler. Bounces off Hipwood. White gets it to Curnow. Now Buckley, who's been involved in this third term, caught one high and will go back and take his kick.
He's been good. He's been really lively this quarter, Dylan Buckley.
Up to 13th touch coming up for him. He's been involved in 6 scores as well, Tim.
Yep. He's got great leg speed.
Oh, not a 50-metre penalty.
Yes, it is.
No, they don't want to retaliate here.
So a bit of byplay results in a 50 for the Blues, and probably 35% kick for Dylan Buckley becomes a 100% kick.
That's right.
And he was going to have a shot from 55 metres.
And the Blues are back in the game. The margin just 19 points.
It's the inside 50. You see, he slapped him in the face. I mean, it's just, might as well go and kick the goal from.
Yeah, just undisciplined. Played a wonderful first half of footy.
Just getting a bit frustrated. Zorko just the 3 touches in this quarter. Gibbs tries to get it to Kerridge. Tries to bust through Bastanak, can't do it. Good tackle, and now Zorko scoots away. Can the Lions respond with a late one? Smith in good position.
Free kick.
And he's going to get the free kick.
Free kick, Brisbane. Hands in the back. Straight back to it.
So now the chance for Archie Smith, another youngster, to step up in a big moment and just try to steady things down for Brisbane.
It's an interesting call. I guess there was a pull of the jump. I don't know about the hands in the back part of it, but I guess when you've got a 200-centimetre player in the front position...
It's on in the pocket.
Right up, take a kick.
Well, as the fatigue levels and the heat and the tempers start to fray, Tim.
Someone said to me once, if you've got the kick, they can hit you with the axe. Don't do anything. It's all right for Carlton. They can flow, but Lions players have to realise they've got nothing to gain and a lot to lose.
So Archie Smith just needs to put all that out of his mind and focus, the youngster.
Come back, please.
Chance to kick his second for the afternoon and steady things for Brisbane. And there's the pressure. The game just starting to turn Carlton's way right now. The margin at 20 points.
That was such a tentative tap on the ball there, wasn't it?
Didn't kick it.
No.
Yeah, it's that...
No swing through the footy at all.
4-foot putt on the 18th, isn't it, where you get the shakes?
It's the tiddler.
Doherty goes long. Cruiser couldn't quite drag it in. Now another chance for Brisbane. Cutler streams forward, attacks the goal face. Penetration on the kick. That is a magnificent finish. Brilliant goal. Exactly what Brisbane needed in the shadows of three-quarter time. The steadying goal from Tom Cutler.
And Tom Cutler can be the future of the Lions off half-back. What every surge's looking for, isn't it, is a runner off half-back who can carry the footy, and every now and again they get towards the 50-metre line and they might be able to kick a long goal. Well, he was 60 metres out, and he's nailed a goal when his team desperately needed. It's a good effort by Cutler. Lovely long kick. I mean, there's not many players who got the 60-metre kick on the run. Few have got it. He's one who has.
Huge goal for the Lions. Margin back out to 26 points. Just over a minute remaining until three-quarter time. In what's developing into a bit of a fiery encounter here at the Gabba. Rich taken down by Kerridge and Curnow. Have another bounce. Curnow taken high, umpire blindsided. Kerridge took it, tumbles it towards half forward. Cunningham versus Cutler. Cunningham with speed, paddles to his own advantage. Cutler right there with him. Tries to use Jones in support, but that handball went straight to Zorko. Zorko's kick, awkward one, touched off the boot. Simpson will get there first. 30 seconds left on the clock. Plowman links up with Simpson. Blues retreat to Rowe. 25 seconds. Rowe's got a couple of players. They need to move forward. Wiedering to Tui. Still has time. He takes it and goes with 15 left on the clock. Has a couple of bounces. Needs to get it inside 50 and find a target. Casbolt goes back with the flight and he's got it. The siren will sound for Levi Casbolt, who's kicked 3 goals, 1 this afternoon. His 1 miss coming from almost this exact spot earlier in the term, and what an important kick on three-quarter time.
Levi, hold your line.
Well, the last one missed to the left by a significant margin. He does hook the ball, but he needs to allow for that hook, so he needs to hang this ball out, aim the ball to the right-hand post.
Levi Casbolt. Critical kick. And once again, he tugs it left. So at three-quarter time, the margin is 25 points. The Blues surge. But for all that work, they managed to pick up 15 of the 40 points they trailed at half-time. It's Brisbane, 14-7-91. Carlton, 9-12-66 on Saturday Arvo footy.
When I think on it for long enough, of all the time we wasted on each other's love, to wonder that I still believe the sun is coming up. To sing for the year, sing for laughter, sing for the dear, sing with my hands just for a day. Remember tomorrow, good Lord, take you away. Listen, dream on, dream on, dream on, dream yourself a dream come true.
Three-quarter time at the Gabba, the game just going up a notch or two in that third quarter. The Blues kicking 4-7 to 2-4. They dominated that third quarter of football, but inaccurate kicking didn't see them take full toll. The margin 25 points at the final change as we head down to Jude. Jude, what can the Blues to get back into the game from here?
Oh, they need to be far more efficient going inside forward 50. 21 inside 50s for only 4 goals, 7. They need to capitalise. Cruiser needs to get on top. He's had 22 hit-outs to Stephen Martin.
Yep. It's the Lions by 25 points as we start the final term. Saturday afternoon football from the Gabba. Phillips in the ruck against Martin, who gets the tap. Free kick going to Hanley.
Carlton have set up a 7-man defence to try and run the ball out, and Brisbane have actually manning them up. So 7-7 in that part of the ground.
Hanley to Rockcliffe. He goes to the close versus row contest.
It's always interesting, that one, isn't it, Tim? Because, OK, it stops Carlton having the extra play to run the ball out, but it means you've only got 5 defenders.
Yeah, there's plenty of space at the other end if you can break.
In the forward line for the opposition. It's always the conflict, I guess, in how you set them up.
Phillips and Martin. Martin at the front. Chance for Cripps to run onto it. Bastanak there for company, and it spills out as Brisbane look for the early goal to just once again diminish Carlton's belief. The Blues, if they can get the first goal or two, will be right back in the contest. Phillips takes it out of the ruck, but his handball missed the target. Buckley has to go in against Rockcliffe.
Up we get, Dylan, thank you.
In fact, it's Taylor on the bottom of that pack. He's got Buckley for company. Hanley down to Rockcliffe. Sneaks away from Gibbs, turns onto his left, brings it inboard. There's a free kick for a push. Close came flying across your screen. And Michael Close. Chance to go back and kick his third goal.
Is that a push, or did he just
Rose stumbled, actually.
I thought he was probably a little bit lucky, but I must say there has been... The tall defenders at both ends have looked pretty shaky. Harris Andrews might be the exception. He's looked pretty good in the air, but...
that's what Sam Rowe's saying. I didn't push him. If anything, it was a stumble.
I fell into him, and I don't know. Anyway, it was a lucky free, I would have thought.
So there's the numbers. He hasn't missed this year from set shots. Michael Close for the opening goal of the final term, and he claps it through. He's got 3.
Just looking at that free kick again.
Well, it certainly went forward, so I guess it was easy for the umpire to see it on the replay. It maybe looked a little bit more incidental than it did first view.
So Phillips and Martin again. Neither ruckman got at it. Curnow and underneath that. And we're not seeing a lot of coordination in the forward 50s from either end, which is why we're seeing such huge packs of players, aren't we, today? It's like old-fashioned football. Yeah. So many big contests 20 metres from goal today. Ball's just bombed in as Zorko's taken down by Boakhurst.
That first goal in this final term, though, was critical. That momentum shifted late in the third term with the Cutler goal. and they needed to get that first goal, the Blues. They've got some real work now to win back the momentum.
Yeah, and that belief, just feel the atmosphere change a little bit here at the Gabba. Ball back inside, 50, chance here for Leicester, and he marks right on 50.
This is too loose.
And he goes short to the pocket. And here's Hipwood.
A lot of Carlton players looking around at each other. Brendan Bolton having a good look himself from the coach's box, trying to work out exactly who was supposed to be on Hipwood. There was no one within 30 metres of him. Players are looking up into the sun, the Carlton players, the Brisbane Lions, from that end of the ground. A lot of players now shielding their eyes.
8th game of league football. He's kicked 11-11 in his short career. 45-degree angle. His left foot shot will just narrowly miss to the left-hand side.
We talked about him pre-game, Lee, and he is developing nicely. He's probably been played a lot more this year than what they anticipated, but there's a lot to work with him.
He's promising. He's got life and energy. He can jump. He's got good hands. He obviously is a skinny teenager at the moment, but very promising when he develops.
2 he goes long. Boakhurst caught from behind. Hipwood, pitched by Kerridge. He just thumps it long. It's a 3-on-2. Casbolt at the front. Good effort again from Andrews to get a fist in. Armfield's been quiet and he's pinged.
Incorrect disposal, Brisbane.
Good tackle from Jansen. Stopped him in his tracks.
Great tackle.
Quiet day for Dennis Armfield. Just the 7 touches.
Not sure that's the delivery the forwards want, though, from Kerridge.
Off the hands of Doherty. Wiedering. Simpson. Onto his right boot. Jones in best position against Robinson. Good strong hands from Jones. Now needs to go quickly. He's got a man in space in the middle of the ground. Casbolt can give it off. Gibbs. Gibbs can give it to Buckley, who can get it, go, and finish from behind.
Didn't know whether to go back or play on. I think when you can actually play on and run in from 30 metres out straight in front with not much pressure, it's probably worth doing. But then he didn't kick through it, did he? He just sort of tried to steer it through.
He's caught in 2 minds, as you said, Lee. Initially he was going to stop, then went, and then stabbed at it for a minor score. 1-3 today for Buckley. He tries to make up for it with the interception, can't quite do so. Gardner kicks towards the wing. Doherty the only man there, but it pitches and bounces out. So just the atmosphere just drained out of the Gabba at the moment after that first Brisbane goal. The natives feeling a little bit more comfortable, and the Blues have got to rally themselves to surge again. Margin at 31 points. Phillips to Curnow. It pitches on its end, allows him to run onto it inside the line. Has a bounce, pursued by Matheson. Runs to 50, delivers inside to Jones. Defensive fist from Merritt, spills back to Curnow. Back to Jones. Handball over the top to Armfield. Right foot snap from Armfield, who's socket through. Casbolt gets the goal. So Levi Casbolt equals his career best of 4 goals in a game.
That's great follow-up by Curnow then too.
Jones, Armfield involved. Both had relatively quiet days. The Blues need a spread of contributors in this last 16 minutes. They trail now by 25 points. Smith, nice tap to Matheson. Robinson. Little shimmy, gets himself some space. Pumps it inside 50. White and Rowe there. It spills to Simpson. He can link up with Thomas. Back to Simpson. He looks for an option downfield. Curnow's kept running. The kick went just behind him. It forced him to wait. It allowed Matheson to run him down. Umpire says play on as the ball spills out. Smith on hands and knees. Thomas in over the top.
He's a competitor, isn't he, Simpson? That's not going to come as a surprise to any Carlton fan. They've been watching him over the years. But he just keeps trying. He keeps willing himself into the game. Running off half-back still, trying to create.
Smith gets it down. Matheson, Curnow. Wrapped up by Cunningham. Jansen and Thomas go at it. White takes on the tackler, gets taken down. Ball in underneath it.
Oh, sorry, boys.
That's holding the ball for me. If you, as you correctly said then, Jason, he actually took the tackler on. So his first instinct, he had time to get rid of the ball. His instinct was to take the tackler on. He got caught in the tackle. And for me, that's, you're giving up your prior opportunity.
Cruiser tried to get it to Cunningham through the hands of Boakhurst, who's got Mays for company. Cruiser in there again for the second effort. Cunningham tries to work it free. Cruiser to Thomas. Now Boakhurst.
Run.
Can the Blues do some damage on the spread? Boakhurst goes down the line. Cripps versus Hamilman. Cripps keeps his feet, but the ball doesn't stay alive, and just a little groan of frustration there from Patrick Cripps. Hasn't had the same influence on the game since he tweaked that knee. He's sitting on 18 possessions, spending more time forward.
He's playing under duress.
Cruiser gets it down. He's looking for Cripps. Now tries to go in and fetch it from underneath Matthew Cruiser. Can't do so. There's the inside 50 count for the day. The Blues up by 9. We've had the same number of scoring shots at 23 apiece, but just haven't been as accurate. Rockcliffe floats it wide towards the line. Wiedering versus Hipwood. Pye says throw it in.
That's going to be the pre-season for Carlton, developing that synergy between midfielder and forwards. They've got to have that connection and be able to hit targets as they enter inside forward 50.
Yeah, you're right, Jude. They're ranked 10th in the competition for disposals, but 17 for attack, so they're not really getting full reward for their effort. A lot of that's to do with the score accuracy as well. They're third worst in the competition for converting. Waste chances as Gibbs goes towards 50. Jones, wrapped up by Andrews, can't get the hands free. Umpire waits a long time and he's penalised him.
Brisbane, you must make a genuine attempt, Leo.
Umpire said the attempt wasn't genuine.
I don't think they factor in the strength of the arms of the modern player. With that weight work, they clamp you.
Harris Andrews goes long towards Martin, who bobbles it. Buckley takes Keys over the line. So 13 and 3/4 minutes remaining at the Gabba, the margin at 25 points as Zorko checks back into the game. He's up to 25 possessions, 19 of those in the first half. Rockcliffe up to 34 leads the game. Curnow has 24 for the Blues. Here goes Cripps. Back onto the ball as he tries to lift his side. Pumps it inside 50. Jones back with the flight. That was beautifully read by Andrews. Impressive youngster.
There's going to be some sort of a player, Harris Andrews.
Gibbs gives away the free kick on Robinson. Element of frustration maybe in that one.
You know that long kick in there by Carlton, though? That's the one that's Jude's talking about, where you'd like to see them dump it off, where one of the forwards actually did a hook on their lead and came back at the ball carrier.
Haven't seen much of that today, have we?
Very little of it.
Because he was in space, Cripps, wasn't he? He had plenty of time to adjust his kick. So the forward had plenty of chance to adjust the lead.
Play on.
Bastanak from just backward of the wing. Hipwood presents, just worked under it by Flowerman, and the umpire spotted it. It was a body spoil. It was just enough to nudge him under the football. Hipwood from 60 metres out, attacks the top of the goal square. Walker in from the side. Rowe with the defensive fist. It spills to White. His handball goes straight to Zorko. No harm done.
Just looking at Brisbane's future in the last minute of play. Harris Andrews taking a mark at one end. Hipwood getting the mark at the other end. I mean, there's a couple of players.
They've got a framework to build around, don't they? They just have to flesh it out.
Those key posts at forward and back.
Smith shows some promise in the ruck, taken down this time. Cruiser, quick kick. Tui in best position will mark.
They're out here. They got one forward of the ball. The Lions have got trapped in their forward line.
Tui comes away, looks to switch towards Kerridge, and he'll have Simpson running to the outside. Thinks about the give, draws the man. Handball needs to sit for Simpson, and it does. He'll be on his right foot and wants to go back onto his left. Does it well. Attacks the top of the square. Casbolt the target. The fist over the back. Sits for Casbolt and/or Armfield. And Wright eventually gets it through.
There's the tap, ineffective, really. And then the follow-up play.
To spoil it forward. I mean, he had the hand. I mean, when Simpson came back inside, you knew he wanted to get back over his left side, and Bastanak just had to force him to kick right foot, but he got back inside, then it was on.
So the Blues back within 20 points, just that mental barrier. Another little milestone ticked off as Thomas tumbles it inside 50. Armfield trying to get the hands free to Doherty. Kerridge lurking, busts through one tackle, can't get through the second, managed to get the handball out. Desperate lunge from Leicester on right. Rich in there to win the football and hold it up. And that's what he does. Desperation now from the Blues. They get that little surge of adrenaline from coming inside 20 points with plenty of time left on the clock. Thomas tracks it at ground level. Jansen there right with him. They both go to ground. Plenty of players around this one. Martin fumbles it into the hands of Rockcliffe. Quick kick from him to a one-on-one. Tracking it back is Casbolt. Taylor for company. Gives it over to Simpson, who had a fumble, and Taylor gets into his back. Simpson with the free kick.
I like the move of Thomas onto the ball too.
So Simpson once again will pop it up. We'll see a big pack once more. Thomas tries to get to the front and force a contest. Silvani on the half volley, taken down by Hamilman. Casbolt's handball intercepted by Matheson. Feeds it back to Rich, and now Bastanak confronted by Cunningham. High kick. Simpson tries to get there. Smith comes in over the top. Umpire will pay the mark. Simpson, how did he mark that? Outsized and outnumbered. And Simpson comes up with the football. Floats a kick, just a bit too much on it for Gibbs. He has a fumble. Tui gets it on the boot. It's still alive for White. From 51 metres, pins the ears back but tugs the kick.
Game on, Lee, though, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this...
Not sure how you play.
I don't know whether it was anyone's mark. I would have thought that's play on, but... Yeah, no, they've got all the energy. I mean, they've had the whole second half, really. Carlton have looked more dangerous, looked like more life. The ball is just bouncing out of the line's forward line now.
Rich thumps it long. Cruiser goes up and takes it pretty much uncontested. Blues throwing lots of punches, but they're not landing enough right now. Margin at 18 points. Cruiser again will pump it in long. Casbolt at the front of the contest. The Rovers come at Zorko. Sockers towards the line to the advantage of Hanley. To Rockcliffe. Tentative little kick towards the wing. Awkward bounce beat Rowe. Running hard is Keys. Plowman cuts across and takes it to the line. And in this situation, the Blues pressing and pressing but not putting it on the board. Their margin for error going back the other way is so slight, isn't it? If Brisbane can get them over the back, it's danger.
Just at the moment, those long, high balls into Carlton's forward 50, the Lions' defence has been pretty good in the air, so they've been able to defend them well.
Rockcliffe taken down by Cripps. Curnow fumbles it in the direction of Gibbs. Kick was partly smothered off the boot. Ricochets back towards Curnow and Bastanak. Bastanak on the bottom. Curnow tries to wrap him up. Does so successfully, at least momentarily. Umpire says pushing the back. Free kick to the Blues and going to Cripps, who is lifted once again in this final term.
If he goes quickly, he's got a couple of players free on this side of the ground.
And that's what he wants to do. Links up with White. Now back to Cripps. He can run to 55 metres. Goes short. Not the right option and not the right execution. Now the Blues need to be careful. Doherty still has it. Outside of the boot. Clever kick to Tui. Mark was paid. He played on. Now he's run himself into some trouble. Back to Armfield. Blues need to work their way through it, and they don't.
Back here, back here.
Tui had the mark. Could have stopped.
Did the umpire call play?
Go in.
He blew the whistle and paid the mark, but I think Tui had already committed to running on, so it was almost a moot point.
Play on.
Zorko goes long towards Close. Wiedering at the front. Well done by Close. Umpire pays it.
Been strong in the air, Close.
They just need one, the Brisbane Lions, don't they? They just need to be able to construct one goal. They've stopped running. There's no overlap run from them.
From either team, a lot of tired players out there right now. It's been a real gut check the last 8.5 minutes. Rowe to Doherty. He goes up the middle to Simpson. Simpson can run through the middle.
In good hands.
He's got Curnow inside. He can link it back with Simpson. Play on the call. This is the important kick. Can he find someone? Silvani takes it in the hands. 40 metres out, and another one of these critical kicks for the youngster.
Well, they needed two things. They needed the ball in the hands of somebody that can deliver it. They got that in Simpson. Here he lowers his eyes. There's the hook lead there from Silvani coming hard at the ball. And on the evidence of his last kick.
Yep, we all think he'll kick it because he's actually proven, even in this very short time, that when he's got a chance, he's got the technique.
We tick under
handle the pressure.
7.5 minutes for his third goal to make it a 2-goal game. Silvani on its way. And it never looked like missing. Class finish from Son of Sauce. Simpson, one of their better users, into the hands of Silvani, one of their better finishers.
And no Brisbane Lions players there to defend the corridor.
2 goals the margin. 7.25 to play at the Gabba on Saturday afternoon football. Cripps wrapped up in a tackle by Matheson. Can't get the hands free. And Jack Silvani, an interesting prospect. At the moment, he's about 191, 192 centimetres. It's going to be interesting to see if he does grow any more in the next couple of years. That'll determine where he ends up playing most of his football. Robinson dispossessed. Thomas to Boakhurst. The Blues finishing full of run. Boakhurst floats a kick inside 50 to a one-on-one. Phillips at ground level. There's Silvani again. Wright working at ground level, trying to keep it moving. Can he get it out? No, he can't. Phillips in over the top. And we'll have a bounce 12 metres out from the Carlton goal.
They got away with one, Brisbane Lions there. They had Leicester sliding back, but he wasn't in a great position as that extra defender.
It's all Carlton at the moment. But can they find the goals as Matheson heads wide? Umpire will say...
That's coming back.
Deliberate.
Yeah, it had to be. And the way the real interpretations are, if you kick the ball anywhere towards the line, you...
Doherty short to Curnow, couldn't hang on. Good pressure, Jansen tries to tidy it up. Can the Lions get that goal they desperately need? Hanley over the back. It's Rowe versus Simpson. And they link up once again. The Blues have got options laterally. The first one is White. And the second will be Tui. He wants to step inside Zorko. Can go over the top to Boakhurst, who's come into the game once it's opened up. Tui on the burst. Can he get past Taylor? Flips a handball. Phillips from 50 gives it off to Silvani. Can they find a target within range? This is Wiedering. Brisbane with every single player bar one inside their forward defensive 50, as Wiedering goes to the top of the square. Big pack. Gibbs at the front. Shrugs a tackle. Boakhurst to Curnow. Off the left. Tumbles at goalwood and hits the post.
Yeah, it's a siege situation for the Lions. They've got so many players in their back half. It's just brick wall. And Kate Simpson is actually dropping back as he does so well as that spare defender. And as soon as they give the ball to him, he's going to make the right decision.
Well, that brings them back within 2 straight kicks. Wiedering versus Jansen. Doherty gains it. Just has to go inside 50 to Armfield and does.
Well, this is his moment. He's had a quiet day, Dennis Armfield. He messed up the last kick that he had. Couldn't hit the target. He's in the side for his pressure ability, but also playing that small forward type role. He's got to convert now for the Blues. What an important kick this is.
This to reduce the margin to within 1 kick. As the clock ticks under 5 minutes. Armfield. That's on song. It's straight and it's home. And the Blues are within 5 points.
The centre bounce becomes critical, and obviously they've got to kick a goal or two, the Lions, because Carlton now are just irreplaceable in terms of their forward field position.
The Blues with 14 of the 18 inside 50s in this final term. Phillips gets the tap, went looking for Cripps again. Coming the other way was Cutler. He's taken down by Curnow.
How critical to this ball movement from the stoppages become now? Curnow's been really good in this last quarter too. So they've got some hard nuts in there. Gibbs, Curnow, Cripps around the ball. Thomas has been good in this last quarter.
Gibbs third man up, but tap went nowhere in particular. Cripps went and gathered it. Got it to Boakhurst. Tries to slip away from Hamilman. Floats a handball to Gibbs. Wheels back onto his preferred right foot. Brings it inboard. Thomas the target. Got one hand to it. Couldn't bring it down. Cruiser at ground level. Tries to follow it up. He's stripped of it. It comes to Andrews. Bangs it on the boot. Floats it wide. Rowe comes over the top. Gets it down to Jones. Jones looks up. Awkward looking kick inside 50. Armfield will come from behind. Gardner with a double fist. Socket out of midair. Bouncing ball. Goes through for a minor score. And the crowd at the Gabba catch their breath. Boakhurst with the flying shot at goal. Cutler with the ball in his hands. Just over 4 minutes on the clock. He goes for distance. Smith at the back of the contest. Bastanak takes it off the hands. They gain some territory and maybe a chance now for Close. Can get it to Taylor. Wheels back inside. Taylor to Jansen. Chance for the Lions here. Robinson, well read by Tui, got across, cut it off. Robinson wants to go again. Cripps gets it, gives it to Doherty. Tui off the back edge of the square, not much to kick to, so he'll swing it wide. Here's Plowman, he looks up, he's got Armfield leading in his direction. Heads in that spot and finds him. Armfield gets it and goes. Casbolt tracking back towards the square. Turns around now. Cruiser will arrive late. It spills to ground. Cruiser to Gibbs. Off a step. Snaps across goal. and no score.
Simpson's had some sort of a last quarter, 9 disposals, and he's been involved in 5 of their 8 scores. And that's all because he's been able to free himself up across halfback.
He frees himself up across halfback, and if ever there's a player that can use the space, he does it so well.
Cruiser over the back, tries to get it to Curnow. Here's Thomas. Slams it on his right boot. It's touched to the top of the square. Silvani and Lester. Cripps and Robinson. One-on-one battles. Cripps in over the top of Robinson. Ball spills out momentarily. Free kick, Carlton.
Daisy Thomas.
In the back against Tom Rockcliffe.
Right foot inside too. The ability to come inside and hook the ball across the body is...
He's really gotten involved in the game in the last quarter, though, Daisy Thomas, since they put him on the ball.
He's been good. Well, they've just dominated, I mean, the field position. They've now had 20 more inside 50 entries, 22 in fact. So they've just dominated the play this second half.
Thomas runs around, snaps at goal, and just misses. Three-point game.
They've all pushed up now, so it's like an 18-man zone that the Brisbane Lions are going to be firing at. Nothing on this side. They're congregating on the other side of the ground.
Once again in the hands of Cutler, who's got distance on his kick. He thumps it long and wide. Off the hands of the contest, out towards the boundary line, and that's a good result for Brisbane.
They just cannot win a contest down the wing here. They just need to be able to stand up and have a strong contest in the air.
2 exhausted sides, very warm conditions. It's been a taxing style of football today as well. Martin gets it down. Beautiful clearance from Bastanak. Maybe a chance, but Simpson's dropped back. He's read it well. He gets across. Awkward bounce. Almost sat for Close, who lays the tackle. Simpson gets it on the boot. Dangerous position. Zorko fumbles it. Plowman over the top. Umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt.
I think Archie Smith didn't know his teammate was there, so they basically ran into each other, I would have thought.
It looked like he got a bit of a clip from his teammate on...
He's a bit dazed, isn't he, Zorko?
Thinking your way under this kind of fatigue is an art in itself.
They've got good field position, though, the Brisbane Lions.
Here's Rich. He's got a weapon for a left boot. He winds it up. He goes for home. And he misses.
They need the long kicking Tui here. He's running to the goal square. Tui, he's going to get the ball.
Will they look to come down the middle, or will they say we've got enough time to try and set it up? No, they'll set it up and they're out.
1 minute 40 on the clock. Plowman has got carriage forward to the football. Hanley strains to get to him. Good effort from Hanley. Forced him to release it. Kicks towards Casbolt versus Merritt. Good effort, Merritt. Fist it to the line. Every one-on-one so critical, and Merritt lets him know all about it.
The Brisbane Lions now have to shuffle their numbers back into defence. Build a wall.
Martin worked to the front. Cruiser tried to get it over the back, then wins the football at ground level, taken down by Robinson. Clock stops at 1:18.
They've got Mays sitting back just right in the goal square, just as that last man.
They're going to try and open up their forward line here, Carlton.
There he is, Sam Mays. For the quick kick in. Cripps rather. Silvani got an awkward bounce. Gardner. Smith's in front. Awkward ball. Big ball to be won, and the Blues win it. Plowman, can he find a target? He goes short to Curnow. 1 minute left on the clock. Curnow 70 from goal. Will he look for a target? He'll bomb it high and long. Huge pack of players will fly for this one. Off the hands of Casbolt. Zorko taken down by Wright. Ball still alive. Cripps goes to ground. Quick kick out of the trouble. Robinson, great mark. 45 seconds left.
This is where they've got to get their players down the line. This is, or even you should just take on the boundary line there, Rich, and you just get the quick kick.
Go back.
And he didn't give it to him.
He kicks it high. 30 seconds on the clock if the Blues can get their hands on the football. It spills. Plowman, White busts through. Great tackle from Martin, takes him down. Bastanak there. He flaps it out. Curnow strains. Zorko, they keep their legs. And Keys will kick it high to a 2-on-1. Walker underneath it just has to hang on.
He's got 15 seconds.
That's exactly what the Brisbane Lions are going to do. It's been a fortnight from hell for the Brisbane Lions. 2 heavy losses, 2 embarrassing losses. And this afternoon they hang on for a gutsy 4-point win. So the Brisbane Lions hang on for their third win of the season in what turned out to be a thrilling finish here at the Gabba. Well, one other game this afternoon, it's a critical one at the MCG between Hawthorn and North Melbourne. Let's check the...